Hey, Rodney Dow.
What's going on, Gary?
I was over here thinking, man, I'm glad I didn't barf the intro like I did last year or last week.
Last week. Do you see everybody that's already in?
Yes. They want to see the superstar we got lurking in the corner here.
Oh, yeah. They know we're going to bring on the champ. Gary, I almost meant to hit you up. How's your thumb doing?
It's good. Man, mine's looks better than yours. What's going on?
I mean,
Did you pull a tendon or you got like transbreak thumber's elbow or something? I don't know.
Exercises. Yeah. We got Kimberly on YouTube. We got Brian Weiss on Facebook. Evening, fellas.
Yep. Kimberly Wheeler.
Yep.
Shannon Wise.
Spaniac.
Good to see you, Shannon. There's Troy.
Yeah, Troy got my new dog today. Cool.
See Shelly and Kurt watching.
Yeah.
Mrs. Harper.
Yeah.
Transbreak. It is.
That was awesome.
My mother is watching. Hello, mother.
Oh, man, cool.
Wow.
Transbreak. That's funny. Man,
yeah.
What a great time last night. Man, I'm super excited to bring Lance on. You know, PRI, I've been watching him through Facebook and that sort of thing. I know he's got a YouTube channel. And, man, he's got some exciting things to talk about. And seeing that Chevy 2 get down, I cannot wait. This kid's blowing up.
There's Pez checking in, Twin Turbo Ragging on YouTube.
Yes.
What's up, Keith? Larry Hunt. What's up, dudes?
There's a bracket racer.
That's right. We should have been there. We'd have wore him out, wouldn't we?
Wore him out. Sit down, clown.
We'd have tore his thumbs off. Sit down, clown.
Yep. There it is. I see Babyface on. Limited champ from Ozark.
Yeah, that's right.
Saw those pictures wearing that jacket, that Neely. That's cool. I want me a Neely.
Oh, what a cool trophy, right?
No kidding. Especially with, being Marty's dad and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Have to make that a bucket list trophy.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mr. Lauer.
Rex Jones, David Maxon. Nice. I think Larry says, what are you laughing out loud about, Larry? That we would rip your thumbs off? Huh?
Yeah.
We'd wear you out. You don't think we would wear you out? Huh?
Final 5, Final 4? Huh?
Wait till we show you the results, bro.
Yeah, I know he saw that. Come on,
man.
Yep.
Oh,
there was a bunch of killers in that class, man. There were sharks everywhere.
Dude, I felt a little out of place around all those bracket killers. Man.
Yeah.
What's Troy saying? Troy says should have never adjusted last night, thinking was late and I slowed down. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Well, being a 12-hour event with all those rounds too, I think you're right. I was thinking about that this morning because there was a lot. Even yourself, Gary, you kind of went and then you had to catch it again.
I did.
Yeah.
Larry Hunt, I seen you boys snapping necks and cashing checks last night.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
2 feet of snow outside in Kansas. We're still popping the brake. Bow.
Yep. We needed the 4-wheel drive to haul home all that money.
Yeah, that's it. Is that old Tim on?
Tim Purdue. Good evening, gentlemen. Hey, Tim. Shelly and Kurt, how many entries and how many buybacks? Well, do we get the buyback info? I know
buyback number. I got the entry number there where we do from Carson and
Mrs. Harper. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so we can talk through that in a little bit. But yeah, a lot more than I thought. I mean, almost, what was it, 140, 50, 60 in each class? I mean, it's just a lot more than I thought. I mean, I was thinking 100, but that room was packed.
Yeah.
They were all sharps. If you didn't have a 00, you didn't need to go in the back. You just stay in the front, play pool.
Yeah. Or keep eating tacos.
Yeah. Hit the golf balls. A little video deal.
Yeah, and Mrs. Harper has it figured out. She said the food, it slowed everyone down.
Yeah, that's it.
Kay Weiler Racing says hello. Hello, Kay Weiler.
Thanks for joining.
Right on.
Come Come on home.
Shall we get right into it, Rodney?
Let's do it. Let's get in, and so we can get Lance in. I see Lewis Martin. I see the man, Carson Wheeler, one of two of the Wheeler boys that just was, I'm kind of glad we had a little bit of a chance because they didn't let the Wheeler boys run. I see they had, Papa Bear in there just attacking them out, but
he was killing them too.
He was killing them, man. He dusted off the old glove. It's funny, Gary. What we should have got on is you should have put your little Fred outfit on, with your hat and your bill and you know what I mean, a couple thumbs, and doing it up. That's funny. Yeah. What's up, Doug Perry? Thanks for coming back. Doug was
There's Doug. Hello, Doug.
Out of Missouri.
Let's start off real quick and give our partners a shout out. Our 2025 marketing partners: Mid America Dragway, Ultra Color Collision Repair, Mobile Recon, Mobile Detailing, Sandlin Iron and Metal Auto Salvage, and Harry Street Carpet. Thank you for being awesome partners in 2025 and making this possible. And speaking of that, look at this. I'm ultra colored up right now. Oh, you are too. Look at that.
Can't stop. Won't stop. Ultra colors for the win.
I got me ultra. Be there. I got me some good ultra news talking to Logan last night.
I know you do, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Man. Yep. He's fitting my stuff and he's making it less junky than when I dropped it off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, I know if I wouldn't have touched it, it would have been a 1 week deal, but since I touched it, it's a 2 week deal. But just let me know, But yeah, he was definitely giving you a good report out last night. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and he reminded me again, you keep welding and he'll keep body manning. So that's a deal.
Yeah, deal. If you need any aluminum welded, Logan, just bring it on over to Gary's there.
Yeah, don't bring me your body work. I showed you my skill. But like for real, before it went over there, I was kind of tore up thinking I'm going to turn this car into a piece of crap with my body skills. And Logan's like, we're good. It's all good.
Nothing he hadn't seen before, right? He's probably seen worse. You know what I mean?
And I asked him that when I dropped it off. I was like, please tell me you've seen worse, right? And you're like, yeah, but I don't know on the scale where that was at.
Yeah.
It was just a nod. Yes.
So, you're a 7 over here. Whoa.
Yeah, baby.
Cameron watching. He was cutting.
Cameron. What's up, Cameron?
He was breaking necks yesterday too. Double O's. Boop, boop. Him and Lauren.
Yeah. My mother says, will Big Red be on the track in 2025? Sometime in 2025.
Yeah.
I need an engine first.
We'll pull it down with my truck if it has to. It's going down.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. So my car is in good hands. It's progressing and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that stuff fitting like it's supposed to.
Yeah. We're going to run by there tomorrow too and get a little.
Yep. I'm going to run over there after work.
Heck yeah. That'll be a good. I like to hear how it's going.
Drop off my headlights and wing. Logan's going to get the wing mounted up also. So
see,
good.
It's called, a little bit of scope creep there. Just keep adding work to him. Oh, while you're here, let's just go ahead and do this too. So that's awesome.
Well, by the way, I'm bringing the wing.
So,
all right, huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say let's roll into this. Oh, she says tie it to a white car going down the track. Hey, whatever it takes. I got straps and cords and chains and stuff.
We need to talk Lance into painting that Chevy too white. You know what I mean?
Oh, hey,
yeah, I want to do that since we like white cars around here. We'll see what he says.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
He goes, whoa. Okay, let's get started.
We'll wait. Lance will tell you.
Okay, there's a story behind that. I see him down there in the green room smiling, so I know there's a story behind there.
I was going to leak it, but I'll let him say it. Okay, let's run into this real quick. We'll get through this swiftly so we can get Lance on. I got a comment over here.
Oh, yeah, be wise or
white car pulling team checking in.
Bam.
Yes. Okay. So speaking of Brian, Ozark, they had their banquet, right?
Yeah.
And so they got some awards given out. Brian Snyder, he had a post. He said, official like a referee with a whistle, had a great time at the Ozark Raceway Park banquet and getting to see people I've missed since racing season ended. Thank you to all my friends that helped me get to this point in my racing career. He's got a cool jacket, a plaque, and a really awesome Neely, you called it right? A Neely wallet or Neely trophy.
Right.
Yes. Picture him and his crew.
Yeah, well done, man. Can't take that away from me. Look at that, man. Jacket.
Oh, yeah. So that plaque says Most Improved Driver 2024.
There you go.
Awesome. Congrats, man.
Well, and not even at Ozark, even that night at Flying H, he went to the finals there, just knocking them down there, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, little October race.
He had a good show at Flying H.
It all came together there at the end.
He says that's a good-looking baby-faced dude there.
Woo!
Yep, and here's a picture of him and his crew.
Heck yeah.
It's not hard to spot the baby-faced dude there.
Oh, yeah. About 14, 15.
Yep.
They have
Congrats, Brian.
Driver's license at Tech. They're not talking about his, professional driver's license. They're just how you got here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Did your mom bring you?
Does your mom know you're here? Do your parents know where you're at?
You got to be home by 12 curfew.
That's right. When the street lights come on, get your ass home.
Get your home. Get it.
Okay.
Awesome. Congratulations, baby face.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah, learner's permit. That's what I thought.
Learner's permit.
I knew something was going.
All right, Rod, we did something really cool last night.
We did.
With them Wheeler boys and a whole bunch of killer shark bracket guys.
Did you feel just the energy? What was it like? 20-1, 20 bracket racers to one heads up racer? You know what I mean?
Maybe more. Maybe more.
Yeah.
Maybe 25-1. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we were holding our own, but we were surrounded. It's like, get back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, these classes were cool. There was warm-up class, pro tree, bottom bulb, top bulb, and a whole list of sponsors we covered last week. The food and drink, man, the food was awesome from Brown's Plumbing Services. They catered the tacos TJ. Man, it was excellent. That was good food. Yeah. To the Wheelers, for putting that on, Dan, and running around all night, making sure the TVs were working and the food was going, taking trash out, just whatever. And, I mean, there was, like I said, over 150 plus people in there just hanging, watching, drinking, cheering for their driver or whatever. And it was a good time, man. Watching some football at the same time. Yep.
Yeah, there were some big TVs all over it. This little, it's not really a little building, but this thing was really cool. What a cool.
Yeah.
I was telling Tiffany, I was like, I don't know if this is a man cave or a man building.
Yeah, it's a man building. There's
man building.
Yeah, definitely a man building for sure. When you got different rooms and setups, and this little warm up time, and got there early. I see you and Cameron there watching.
Yep.
That was so cool. I mean, you sat there like you're in a racing seat, and you had the steering wheel. You kind of adjust to where you liked it, and get the feel. You got a button on the left or the right, and use either one. And like I said, I learned things. You know what I mean? We were on the show last week talking with Carson and Colton, and you gave me that. Did you know what he's talking about, Rod? And I gave you that death look. Because I watched the video back, and because I had no idea. You dial it in, you're dialing. Yeah, put me at 15, put me at 11:20, and then this bump down, bump up. If you let go, you think you're late. You can bump down and try to make up 5. Like what? I just let go of the button as soon as I see a yellow. Yeah.
There's a few things we learned after we got there.
Man, they were sharks.
Do this. Whoa.
Yeah, Larry Hunt knows they were sharks, man. If you didn't have a 000 something, I've seen triple O's going. Triple O's to a 0001. You ran a 0001 and you lost. You know what I mean? God.
Did you have any triple O's?
I didn't have a 00. I had some 00s. I had a lot of 00s. I had some reds too. I jumped in the seat with you that one time. You were a shark yourself, man, Gary. I just kept watching from the back. And I was like, damn, another 00. Golly.
I wasted one 000 on the warm-up test, the 3 testers you get.
Yeah.
That's all I had was just one, and I wasted it on a test run.
Wow. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. They had a cool table set up with some Buffco swag, some Rear Morrison swag. I ended up with one of those that was like a tech card draw. You get your name drawn, and I got a shirt. My wife was thrilled to see that, and so there was some checks there, some little trophies, some real nice stuff.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. So we, as we were probably surprised as the night went on, we were still hanging in. This was a big look at this round one. There's Cameron that shows defeated Bobby Bathwater. I defeated Caden Loebner. This was round one. So if I don't see your name, but there's what was there?
Yeah,
there was a ton.
It only lists the first 57 pairs, and you had to wait for it to go up. I was one of the last pairs on this first round. I mean, I could have went and took a nap and came back, but yeah. And then of course, as the rounds went on, it shortened up.
Yep.
That was cool to have this big TV. You can see the pairings and everything.
Yeah, there was a bunch of those around. So this is Top Bulb.
Yeah.
I was in what was the other Pro Tree and Top Bulb.
Yeah.
In the warm up, but I didn't last long there.
Well, I'll just call it out too. I was in Pro as well, but you took me out.
I took you out
at 8 to get to the semi for you. We were left lane, right lane, and you got me. Put me on the trailer.
And this is you here at round 7 in Top Bulb. Yeah,
I felt good. I'm the only heads up guy hit left in this deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just doing my best, but they were all sharks. And it didn't matter their age either.
Oh, right.
All sharks. And just come on in. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, there were some young kids just killing the tree.
Oh yeah, these juniors right there too. Yeah, their steering wheel upside down, had the thumb in the back, let it go. Just like, what are they doing? Double O.
Yeah. Looked easy. This is okay. So this was cool because there were some heads up racers going rounds here. We got to I was using like basketball reference, Sweet 16.
Okay.
And there was 4 heads up racers in there. There was Brendan, me, you, and Kurt.
Right.
Kurt Ruffle.
Yeah. Randy Powell. Yeah.
Randy Powell.
Yeah.
So
Kurt
yeah. So we for sure thought at some point we're gonna get each other,
Sure.
And we didn't. We all stayed away from each other.
Yeah. No, we didn't get each other, and that was awesome.
Yep, that was the Pro Tree 8. That's round 6. Got into round 7, and when the pairings came up, we was worried Brendan and I would get together, and we didn't. We just opposite sides. Yep. So then the plan was like, man, let's go. Let's get each other in the final. And that didn't work out.
No. I think Brendan fell first and you fell second.
Yeah.
Right? Dang it.
Yeah. I sat in the chair, and there's 2 times that I sat down and I talked shit to the guy next to me.
Uh-huh.
Both of them times I got my ass handed to me. And Steve Beanie was the second time there. He sat down. I said, "Do you know where your trailer is at?" Like, I'm gonna send you the trailer, bro.
Backing it up.
And
back of lunch.
It didn't work out.
Whoop whoop.
But yeah, what a great time that was.
Yeah, definitely.
And and the name of you had the Seacrest and Beanie and Carl Jones. You're just some super killers.
Oh yeah, killer, no doubt.
Caleb Hall, Brendan Mock, haven't seen him in a while. Hope all is well in their camp. He did really good last night. We had a great time.
He'll be out next year too. He's doing something.
Yeah. Here, like we just got this message from Carson just a little while ago. He has set 163 in top, 111 in bottom bulb, 142 pro tree, 131 in warm up. Every race was 8 rounds, and top bulb was 9 rounds. Man.
Yeah. I'm glad that wasn't a real race going 9 rounds to cool my transmission off, that training cooler.
Right.
Yeah. But Heck yeah, man. I mean, we basically broke even for the whole event, you know.
Yeah.
I still owe Troy Aves $25. I'm going to have to pay him tomorrow at work because I was doing some side betting. And when we and you got in that last round, he looked at me, he goes, double or nothing. And I said, nope, because I've been top of the tree. I'm like, no.
It had turned that into a 50.
And then I went, red. Yeah.
Yeah. Carson, he had a post. He said, huge thank you to everyone that came to the downtown throwdown. We had a great turnout with roughly 160 entries in Top Bowl, but 140 in Pro Tree. I also want to thank all of our amazing sponsors that helped out with the event. We're looking forward to doing this again. He's got the winners and runners up in semis. Buffco Top Bowl winner was Chris Brown. Runner up was Nate Solomon, and the semi was Nate Solomon. Mm-hmm. Machine Glass ICT bottom bowl winner Chris Brown again. Runner up Kyle Seacrest. Semi Blake Mills. Luxury Lawn and Landscape Pro Tree winner Jeff Solomon. Runner up Steve Beanie. Semis Gary Putnam, me, and Brendan Mock. Mid-America Dragway warm-up race winner Kyle Seacrest, runner-up Kyle Miller, semis Bryce Dawson and John Loebner.
Nice.
Pretty awesome.
Awesome. Hell of an event. Way to kick that off, man. Thanks to all the sponsors that did that. Very successful. Hell of a facility to take that. The food was awesome. Yep. Everybody was just in there having a good time. You know, great time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things I've done and a lot of cool things I haven't done, and I'd never done anything like this.
Yeah,
and completely blew away my expectations.
Same here. And if anybody watching, and we're going to ask Lance when he comes on here in a second if he's ever done one of these events. You know, at the race in Texas there, Radio Revenge, they had this deal. We missed it that Friday night because of the hurricane that came in, but I think they had it. But I've never been to one of these, and I'm here to tell everyone, you need to go. These are fun. And it met all my expectation. And like we were talking about on the way home, it almost took this event to figure out what was going on. You know, with the strategy and everything. I see people with spreadsheets, Microsoft AI to try to figure out what they're going to dial in and everything. I mean, the thing was just incredible. I'm just like, because, you know, I just thought you let go of the button. Well, you can be too quick. You got to put a little delay in there. And so I figured it out as well. And that's what Troy Hayes was talking about. Because then you know, you're a little early. Well, I'll put a couple numbers in. Well, now you're late, you know, and that sort of thing. Yeah, good time.
Yep, a little notepad and a pen in the pocket, and gonna keep track of stuff.
Yeah, especially if you're in multiple classes.
Yeah. Mrs. Harper says, don't forget there's another practice tree race February 1st. I'll send you the flyer. Tyler, I'm not even going to say that last name, puts it on Tyler W.
Tyler W. putting it on. Well, okay. Look at that. We got something going on there. Hey.
Brian Wise said he had a good time, got to go a couple rounds to see some cool peeps. That's right. Yeah.
Well, poor Brian, man, we watched some people, you know how it is. It's the luck of the draw. Right. And the pairing. And sometimes, you know, he got I watched him go a 009 or a 14 and, you know, got sit down, you know, just like, man, the round before that would have won, you know?
Right.
And, and it's just like, golly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, look at Buffco there. Great hanging out with him. We had a blast hanging out.
Yep. Carl
learned a lot about him, talking about racing. I told Carl that I would go to the races with him, wipe his car down just to eat. Because that guy has his bread, steak, shrimp, tacos, whatever you want, eggs in the morning, bacon. I mean, it's just all the whole toter set up. And so
we want to get on that menu.
I'll just drive, not the car, just the toter. You know, I'll just drive down the road.
Yeah.
What are you here for? The food. Yeah.
Want to eat Carl's food.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got some pictures of the winners, and then we're gonna jump into Lance right here. Look at that! Boom! Holding that money right there.
Ooh.
Look at that! Woo.
Man, that's the way to start the year out. First entry, go home with some cash. We just got to keep that going in 2025.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a good way to start. That might be the only money I win this year.
Come on, Gary. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you know what I did find out? I got I got kind of an ultimatum from Mrs. Harper. I think she said, come race with a heads up car, or she's going to ban me from the track, I think.
Oh, hey, so or she ought to ban you from the concession stands. And, you know, you'll have to take 25 in there, but she ain't going to give you anything. You know,
she goes, "You can at least make September." I was like, "Man, I think so." I said, "If not, I'll buy a turnkey car and I'll be there."
There you go. She's going to, you know, you're talking about those taters last time. She's going to throw your tater on the ground out there. It's out back.
Yeah, go eat that out there. Go.
Yeah. Who we got? Kyle here.
Yep, there's a picture of Kyle Seacrest, the warm-up winner.
Heck yeah.
Picture of doubling up downtown Chris Brown. He was top bulb and bottom bulb winner. Man.
Dude, that is awesome.
He was killing it.
He was killing it.
And this is Jeff Solomon, the Pro Tree winner.
Yep. No. And I think these cats were out of Kansas City, but I'm not 100%.
Was he?
Somebody can chime in. Yeah, because I talked to him. He put me out in the semi, or in my, we were going into round 9 or whatever it was when I was 5 left, because he had a double entry still going. And we when we first let go of the tree the first time, we both went 003. And so we tied. And then we had to do a rerun right there. And he went 004 something to my negative 002 or something. You know, I was just trying to squeeze the tree a little bit more and on the wrong side. But yeah, this was a great time.
One of I don't remember which round it was. And also next year, learning from this year, next year I'm going to keep track of what round, who I raced, you know, because there were so many people, so I don't know all them guys, but some of the names we know, and I keep track of who it was, what the numbers was. But I won a round, and I was 008 red. The guy next to me was the other guy was 009 red.
Woo!
So I got lucky, and that dude was killer on the tree pretty much all day too. Yeah. So,
hey, were you chasing yourself at all, or did you just give him the same number every time?
Oh no, I was chasing a little bit. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was trying to make the right number.
I went the wrong way a couple times, and I was red, and I went more red, and so then I had to get my thoughts back and look at my spreadsheet and go the other way, and then I was back on. Yeah,
that was a good time. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that is
all right.
You got anything else on the practice tree deal? Because that's the end of that, and I'm ready for Lance.
I'm ready for Lance too. This is going to be awesome.
Well, let's make room for him. I got to fix the deal here.
He might be signing autographs. I don't know if he can come. He's got time to come on tonight. There he is.
Okay. What's up, Lance?
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Hear you great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right, cool. My microphone button says it's still muted, but it's not. So
we got you loud and clear. Loud and clear. Yeah. And hey, can everybody hear Lance? Just someone reply real quick, just to make sure. Lance, have you ever been to a practice tree race like that indoor deal where you're just sitting there at the tree?
No, man. You know, I seen it at PRI. I think it's Brian Tooley has one there, but looks like a lot of fun. And around here, it sucks. We don't have enough racers. I'd have to drive down there to see you guys to do that. So
man, come on down, dude.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience.
Yeah, it looks like it's crazy how much money's in that. I was looking at some of those checks. It's like, holy crap, man! I'm gonna sell the race car and go do these.
Heck yeah. You don't have, you're not going to hurt your motor. You don't have to cool the training off. You don't have to buy tires after the event, change oil, Yep.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Show up and show out. That's all you got to do. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh, hey, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, man. This is cool.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time.
We saw Lance at PRI, right, Gary?
Yep.
And I think Gary already had a relationship with Lance before, because as soon as you guys walked up, you started talking like you knew each other, and I'm just sitting on the side and did the introduction and stuff, and we had a great time visiting with you then. Of course, I just knew you as the guy that did the 8th Mile wheelies. That's all I knew, coming through, and we're going to talk about that later. But man, we were talking about you there, or talking with you at PRI, and as soon as I left 20 minutes later, I felt like I've known you forever. You know what I mean? I thought, man, that's a cool dude. I'd like to bring him on. So this has worked out perfect. Perfect.
But I knew your car was in the dyno booth, and we had been over there earlier. We was kind of in that area, and before we was to go the opposite way, I told Rod, let's go over here and see if Lance is over here. I at least want to say hi to you before we before we got away, and you wasn't there. Then like the last day, as we was making our way out the building, I was like, man, let's go over there one more time and see if you're there. And luckily we happened to catch you, and here we wrangled you into this.
Yep. Man, that was crazy. That was like, I've been to PRI. I think that's like the 7th or 8th time or something like that. But, everybody's got their people they go see and all that stuff. And the longer I've been racing, the more people are on that list. And I had no idea how much busier it would feel having my car there, trying to juggle being there and going to see people. And it was crazy, man. And then of course, having the car there, there was a lot more people that were interested in talking with us, so I needed to spend some time in the booth and it was crazy. Usually by the end of PRI, I'm always there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. By the end of it, I'm like, let's go home. I am so over this,
You don't talk to nobody.
Yeah. And this year by Saturday, I was like, man, I wish it went through tomorrow. Like I still got stuff to do. So that's crazy.
Brandon Sandlin here says, what's up, Lance Knigge?
Yeah, what's happening, man?
Yeah, one of our local boys here.
Yeah.
You can see his dad there at Iron and Metal sponsors us here, Sandlin Iron and Metal there. JR.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah,
So we got a lot to talk about. I know you got announcements and stuff, and I've been watching your page. But just to let everybody know, we're doing the same type of routine. Lance sent us in some photos of his car and his win, but we're going to take it back to the left a little bit and talk about how he got into racing and, if you like cars and that sort of thing. So let's kick off with the first question. Like, what kind of car did you drive in high school? And it had to be like last year or maybe the year before, that we were there. But like, what car did you drive in high school? Let's hear it.
Well, it's kind of embarrassing. So I don't have one of those cool stories. I didn't have a big block Chevelle or nothing cool. Right. So my first car was an old pickup that I bought that I gave next to nothing for, and I had to work on it and stuff. But the first car that I had that was of any value was a Dodge Neon SRT4. So that was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a race car.
Yeah. It didn't start off being very cool at all, but I ended up doing some cool stuff with it, and I learned a lot. I mean, it was a turbo car, so learned a lot of that stuff, and spent my fair share of money on eBay trying to make it cool. But
okay, so you're doing a little mod to it and stuff. Is that what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, with the factory motor, I ended up getting that thing to run 12 O's up here in Wyoming, so it's pretty cool. And then I got a built motor for it. I bought it from a guy in Texas and put it back together with that, and it made like 580 horsepower. Like it made good power for a 4-cylinder. But man, every time I drove that thing, it broke. And my uncle Rick, he was like my dad when I was younger, because I'll get into that in a minute. But he was always like, man, you could spend half the money and go twice as fast if you just did something with a V8. And finally, I did it. So.
Hey, I'll make you feel better about your first car. My first car was a 72 Pinto station wagon.
Really? Oh, damn.
Yes, absolutely.
At least it was metal. Mine was like plastic.
Mine was a bomb, though. The Pintos, if you hit them in the back, they blow up.
It went faster going backwards.
Yeah.
I survived Pinto ownership. I owned 2 of them, actually.
Oh, my goodness. That was fun.
I'm a survivor.
Heck
So
yeah.
did you have a little place in Wyoming where you roll out on Friday night and with some other, car enthusiasts and get down a little bit, or?
Yep. Yeah, we got Amico Road, and people still go up there. It's kind of, the car scene's changed a lot, and I think everywhere has like highs and lows with it. And in the last few years have been kind of a low here, but there's a lot of people going back out street racing and doing that stuff. And it's getting back to where it's fun again here. So I'm going to have to do something for the street.
There you go. There you go. No, that's cool. So I don't know if this is going to do our first picture or not, but take us through that. So the first time you went to the track, and that was it in that little 4-cylinder turbo deal, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the track. So honestly, what got me into cars is when I was, as long as I can remember, my dad always had fast stuff, and he had a T-bucket that he probably put that together when I was like 8 or 9 maybe, and he bought it with a little blown, or actually I think it was just a small block with a tunnel ram, and then he ended up putting a blown big block out of a boat that he had into it. And that thing was it was kind of ahead of its time. It was nostalgic. It was carbureted big block, but right before he died, that thing made 1,000 horsepower on pump gas, and that was unheard of back then, on the street especially. So
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's kind of hooked from that. And then, once I'll stop there. My dad and my mom passed away when I was 14. So, I kind of went a little stretch there, a couple of years where I wasn't really around much car stuff because I was moving around and doing all that. And finally moved back to Wyoming. And my great uncle was working on an old truck that he's got. I've actually got it. I don't know if you guys have seen the green, I think it's a 57 Chevy in any of my Facebook posts lately, but he was working on that, kind of got me motivated back to quit racing dirt bikes and start working on cars a little more. So then I started doing that and got that neon and did all that stuff. And then I ended up taking that to the track when I was like 17 or so and kind of got the sickness, man. I'm too competitive. So it's like from then on, I've been broke.
Where was your track at?
The first track I ever took that thing to was actually in Tulsa because I was down there working. So
okay, that's kind of one of our local tracks. Within 3 hours we got 3 or 4 of them. So
up there in Wyoming where you lived at, where did you have to go to be a local-ish track?
So we used to, which we do now, but there was a good period there where we didn't have a track, but back then it was Douglas, Wyoming, and then they closed and now they're open again with a limited schedule. But yeah, so I ended up taking it there after Tulsa, but yeah, and did a lot of racing there. And I've raced like some S10s with small blocks. And then when I was probably 20 years old, I bought a Chevelle. Actually, I was probably 19. I bought a Chevelle with a big block in it, and it was a nitrous motor, and it ran like 11 O's, and man, that was like the fastest thing in the world to me back then, and got to take it to Douglas. So it's cool.
That is cool.
The S10, is this it?
That was one of them. Yep.
Oh, one of them. Okay. So when you went to Tulsa, was there an event going on, or did you just go like a test and tune type of deal, or just farting around?
That was back when the Midnights, I think they were a little bit bigger back then than what they've been lately, but it was the Midnights, and it was a lot of fun.
I've been to some Midnights up there driving back home on 35 with the sun coming up.
What's that road that everybody cruises there? Is it Memorial in Tulsa also?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cool. Hey, Gary, you got 3 or 4 comments. You want to bring them in just to say hi, it looks like.
Yeah, Twin Turbo Wagon. This is Keith Lopez. He says, "Hey, Lance."
Hey, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Yep. He was with us last night. Jason Rank says, "I hope he is revealing the new smart car."
Man, I don't think you guys are ready for that.
You're ready for it.
That thing is sweet.
Tony Swan says, "Lance's big block Chevy Turbo Fox is why I have a Fox Coupe."
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate that. That was fun. I had a lot of fun with that car, and it really kind of, changed directions. I used to like just doing burnouts and going out and acting like an idiot on the street. And I really started racing a lot with that car and, kind of got the competitive side of me going.
There you go.
Yeah. K Weiler Racing, they say, "What's up, Lance?" from Kim and Kimberly.
Heck yeah. Hey, guys.
Right on.
So you mentioned this Chevelle. Is that what you sent pictures of? You sent 3 or 4 pictures of this.
Yep. Yeah, that car I bought that with. It was the motor that's in it, but it was just a carbureted big block. And then, that was like the first kind of fast thing that I tried putting together. That motor that's in that picture, it made like 1,300 to the wheels on alcohol, and I drove it around on the street. That was a lot of fun, man. And that picture with my son sitting on it, that one was like the first viral thing I was ever any sort of a part of, and that really went all over the internet. It still does. Like MSD's Facebook page shared it, and man, I can't remember the other big companies that have it. It was pretty cool with where that went.
Heck yeah, that's great.
Wow. There's another picture of it.
Heck yeah.
What time period was this? What year area was this you had this?
So that once I had the blower on it was probably like 2010. Probably I was around 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a backstory on Wyoming Performance at a shop or something?
Yeah, probably not a good one to talk about on here. No, we'll talk about it. So Wyoming Performance, he helped me out a lot. His name was Vince Fankhauser, and when I first started racing, he was our local machine shop, and he helped me. He did a lot of my machine work, and a really talented guy. And things kind of went south around COVID between my relationship with his business, and and we went our separate ways. But yeah, he taught me a lot about racing engines and kind of where I needed to go with machine work and stuff. So yeah,
there you go. Fair enough. Cool,
yeah.
cool.
There's another picture of it.
Yeah, that picture is in San Antonio, Texas. I took it all the way down there when I was working to go run it. So,
Heck yeah. Was this a little test night or is this a shootout? Do you remember?
Yeah, just a test night. I couldn't get the car to run right, so I put a different blower on it in my trailer at the hotel to go try and run it there, and yeah, it didn't work.
Didn't work. How fast did you get going with this one?
Honestly, that car, I don't remember the fastest with the blower. I don't know the fastest I ever went. I could never get it to run right, and part of that was back to the Wyoming performance stuff. I had some valve spring issues, and that was before I knew how to fix my own engines. And I took that motor out of there, and I got some help from another guy named Matt Frisbee, and he found my valve spring issues and got it running right. But I ended up selling that car. I sold the roller to buy the turbo engine for the Mustang. So,
okay,
yeah,
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So you're self-employed, right?
Yep. Yeah, I have a little industrial supply business.
Where? How did you get into that?
Honestly, kind of crazy. My family has a business that used to be just an oil field business, like water trucks and stuff like that, and then they branched off around 1990 and started an industrial cleaning division, which was like cleaning pipeline tanks and pipelines, all that stuff. And so that's what I did as a young adult. And I was on a job in Wisconsin, and we were having trouble with our current supplier that did what I did. And I was trying to start a business, trying to think of a business to start, and couldn't really come up with much. And this kind of crossed my mind because it's like I could be my own customer. And I talked to my uncle about it, as he was the one running Melco and still is. That was our family business. And he gave me the green light to do it. So I took a little bit of money I had saved up and bought some stuff and kept it in the shed behind my house and started selling myself stuff.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
So that what we see you with now as Wyoming Safety Supply?
Yep. Yep. That's it.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. I think it was right around the time of that picture that's up. I think I was around 20. I incorporated in 2012, which that sounds way fancier than it is. That was just for taxes. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of when I consider when I got started, because I was no longer just working out of my shed. But yeah, it's grown a lot. It's been cool. It's given me a lot of freedoms to be able to race. And I've got a lot of really good people involved in it. And, they take care of business when I'm out trying to do this stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great.
How many employees do you have?
I have, let's see here, 6.
Okay.
6. Yeah. We've downsized a little bit. I used to have a store down in Oklahoma. That's why I spent a lot of time down there. And, we just couldn't ever really get that one off the ground to where it was really making money. So I decided to close it last year. But yeah.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. Pretty cool.
Very
cool. Good stuff. You mentioned a boat a little bit ago.
Yep.
And you sent 2 pictures of 2 different boats.
Yep. So that one right there is mine. That one is a riot, man. That's fun. The other one is the one of my dad's. That's actually where that blower motor came out of that was in that T-bucket I was telling you about. And
this one
there. Yep.
A blower and a couple of Predator carburetors.
Yep, man, not too many people that know what Predators are.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, that boat was pretty cool, man. Everybody still talks about my dad and that boat to this day. Around here, it's pretty cool. But
so that's your dad behind the wheel, and who's the other guy?
I'm not sure. I don't know who that is. That was just a picture I had of my dad. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that got the hell scared out of them in that passenger seat.
Man.
You know what it says on the boat there? Is that the boat name or something?
Radical, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Uncle Rick painted that boat. It's pretty cool. I still have it even.
Oh, great.
So you have both of these boats in still?
Yep, I do. Yeah, that one right there. I'm trying to sell it. I need to make some room. But if it doesn't sell, it's not going to hurt my feelings either, because that boat it's fast, man. It's a lot faster than my dad's was. Just it's all newer, but it's a 565 with Holley EFI, and it's got a billet 1071, and it's supposed to make like 1,250 horsepower on an engine dyno. But I don't know what boost that was at or anything. I've got it turned up. It makes like 18 pounds right now. And man, that thing rips.
That was fun.
This person knows the boat. Keelan Thomas is that boat was gnarly.
Yep. Yeah. He's talking about my dad's. He's been around it a time or two.
There you go.
Yep. It was pretty cool, man. Now it's got a nitrous big block in it. It's a lot more mellow than it was back then, but it's drivable now. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, your Mustang. You talked about your Mustang, and there's that. Tell us about this thing,
man. So that car, I seen it for sale, and honestly, I think the paint job's kind of ugly. And I was watching it, and it used to have this like spatter paint and all over the firewall and all that stuff, and it was a good deal. I think it was like 10 grand, back when I bought it in like 2012 or so, somewhere around in there. And it had the spatter paint, so nobody was buying it because I think everybody else thought it was ugly too. And finally, I just made him an offer, and I bought it from this dude in Louisiana and had it shipped up here. And it was set up for a small block Ford, and I took the motor that was in that Chevelle and I put it in this car with nitrous and started doing some racing with it. And it was fast. I think, I think the fastest I ever went was like 9.0s or something, but back then that was pretty good. And with nitrous. And then I got invited on Street Outlaws with that car for the first time in like 2014 or 15. And then that's around the time, or actually right before that, is when I sold that Chevelle to buy the turbo engine for this. And I put that 118 on there, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And went down there and raced. And, it's crazy because back then when I raced on Street Outlaws, I raced Kamikaze, and that's how we became friends. And that day at the track was the first time I ever ran a 5-second 1/8 mile. So it's crazy to think. And I almost won my race on the show. So it's crazy to think how much different things are now with all those guys than back then. But that was definitely the car that started the sickness. And I don't like to lose at anything. And so I just figured out everything I could do to make that thing as fast as I could. And went with it.
Where were you at during this picture?
That one's in Pueblo. I don't know what race that was, but being in Pueblo, it was probably the old Colorado Street Outlaws stuff, man. That was, I think I sent you guys a picture of me holding like a wrestling belt. You got that one? But that one, that's what I really, that was my kind of breakthrough with Heads Up Racing, is we used to go do that with a guy named Willie B. You guys might know him. That was cool, man. We used to race all night, and we'd run small tire, big tire, and most wanted was the other class. And there was only a handful of us that seemed like we were consistently in the finals, but it was like a dogfight every single time we showed up. We didn't know who was going to win, and I did pretty good at those races, and yeah.
Very cool, very cool. You know how fast you end up getting going with the 118 and all that?
Yeah, so like when it started, I only ran like 590s, and then I got it faster and faster. And I don't remember the year I went my first 4 in it, but right before I sold it, I could go 460s on a dirt road with it, and back then that was a lot faster than a 460 now.
Yeah.
That's it.
I found it. That's it. That picture there, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, man. That was like my first big win. I think I won like $7 grand that night or something. It was crazy. Hey. Yeah, I was excited. And honestly, that was probably within the first year or the year after I won my first race, so I hadn't been winning races much. So I couldn't believe I won that kind of money doing that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. You thought this is racing career is great. That's making a lot of money.
What I heard, Gary, is he put a turbo on and he started winning. That's what I heard.
Yep.
Well, and there's a little bit of white on the car, so that makes it fast too, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Two together. That's awesome. And you were just hooked at that point, like, let's go win, That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think about it all the time. It's like every year, it gets more serious and more serious for me. And back then I used to race, maybe 3 or 4 times a season. And then it got more and more. And now, man, I race like every other weekend. We do probably anywhere from 10 to 15 events a year. It's crazy. So.
Right. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, heck yeah. I wish those events were still what they are. They still race down in Pueblo, and those guys put on some cool events, but there's just nothing like those Colorado Street Outlaws events. Those were a lot of fun.
Sure.
Heck yeah.
You only sent just this one picture of, which was this one of that car, and you can see a little piece of it in that belt picture, but then the car turns gray.
Yep. Heck yeah, man. So when it was red and white, it was all steel, all glass. Now that's a thing, and back then it wasn't. Otherwise, I would have probably left it.
Right.
So when it turned gray, now it's got all optic armor windows, carbon fiber doors, deck lid, the front clips carbon. I took 500 pounds out of it, and that's when it started going fast. And
wow.
The engine that's in that car in that picture right there was the engine that was in the Nova until No Prep Kings at the end of last year. That's the motor that I destroyed breaking the crank. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, definitely. Like I was telling you guys, it's just I was so competitive that no matter what, I was trying to figure out how to make it faster, and taking weight out of it was something that needed to happen. So I did that, and that's when it turned gray. And then the first year I had it gray, I smashed it into the wall and had to redo everything. Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah,
that picture is at Bandamere.
Denver.
Okay.
Yeah. Heck yeah, that was the place that I won my first race. It was a streetcar takeover, and then I raced pretty much everything I could get in there. We did a lot of stuff with PSCA and streetcar takeover, and Willie B did some races there, and a little bit of everything.
This is your Mustang was this configuration when it was Outlaw Armageddon. I forget what number it was, like 2019 maybe, when we was pitted across you with Keith's wagon.
Yep. That
year, and you just had to be over there, and we walked over there to check this thing out, and this is what it was.
Yep. Heck yeah, man. That was a long time ago. I couldn't remember where I met you guys. Honestly, I remember that race, but I didn't know if that's where I met you guys or not. But
yeah, that was it.
For a long time.
Yeah, Outlaw Armageddon. It was hot.
What was that, 6 or 7, Gary?
I think it was earlier than that, like 4 or something, right?
5 maybe. I don't remember. If Keith's watching, Keith will remember. There's a picture of there, but there's no date or number on the picture.
Yeah,
that might be him. No.
Yeah, I raced the second one with it red and white. The second Armageddon. I missed the first one, and then I've raced every single one of them up until last year. I think it was that I didn't make because we were racing Mile High Nationals. But
okay,
heck yeah, pretty cool. I like that race.
Yeah, there you go. 5, Keith says Outlaw Armageddon 5. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That
was hot.
Yes, it was terrible. It was awful.
Hey, Lance, I'm gonna comment from Melissa Knigge.
Oh, my little sister. Yeah.
She said, I think that picture of your dad was at a family reunion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my cousin Melissa. Yep. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would imagine that. And we used to live at the lake when my dad was alive, and back then, when I was younger. But all of our family reunions were always at the lake in Nebraska or wherever.
Yeah. Gary Troy's got a comment there. I don't know who he's talking about.
Troy who? Oh,
yeah. That same guy probably had the lightweight doors Lance is talking about too at that point.
Yeah. Troy says new, another person with a big block Chevy Turbo Fox. Can't remember who.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even have a car, Troy. Look, it's gone. I don't even have a car. It's just poof. It just vanished.
Red one.
Red? I don't know. Red. Yeah. Resale red. Maybe I should sell it.
So 005. So man, we're at 10 this year, right?
Armageddon. So, yeah.
So if they have one every year, I guess it's back in 2020 or roughly,
Man, it seems way longer than 5 years ago, though.
Did they ever skip out any? A couple years, maybe? I don't know.
So. COVID. They didn't do one.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. COVID held one up.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So, but still, like you said, time gets away.
It does.
It's not really nothing to talk about, but as a business owner, COVID probably did a mess on you a little bit.
Honestly, it did and it didn't. Like my business kind of was doing well because of COVID. We do like nitrile gloves and masks and all that stuff. But, we did really well through all of that, and then it was really hard after it. But during COVID, I had a deal where I bought a lot of nitrile gloves because we were selling a lot of them. And a couple things happened. One of our big customers that was supposed to continue doing business with us didn't, just because they got their normal supplier back and we were thrown to the curb. But I also got some gloves that weren't what they were supposed to be. So I've got a really long legal battle going on that's costing me a whole bunch of money still.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it was really good if I wouldn't have had that. But yeah, it's
been
really bad.
Oh, what a weird time that was.
Yeah. Cool. I wish I could go back and do it again, because if we, I'm sure there's a million people in the world, if not more, that say the same thing. But I don't want everybody to go through that again. But if I could do it differently, I could be a whole lot different now.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to slide this picture in here because you just posted it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing some custom work on pimping a ride here.
Yep. Yeah, that's the little smart car, man.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, so like it used to be white and silver, like 99% of them are. And my old trailer was a lot tighter of a squeeze to get it in there. And the dang toolbox came open and beat the side up, and just got some wear and tear and stuff. And then the roof was like all oxidized, and it's like plastic or something, like the plexiglass stuff, and looked really bad. So we were going to paint it white again and then just paint the roof black, and then where it was silver around the side, paint that black. And I painted the original stuff black, and I was like, man, that thing would look so much cooler if it was all black. So I painted it. And the first time I painted it, I realized that I hadn't sprayed any paint out of a gun in so long that I forgot how to do it and ruined it. So, we had to sand it all back down again, and then I sprayed it again and turned out good.
No.
Yeah. That was just testing. That was just all it is, getting the rhythm back. That's all that was.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt, man. I was like, holy crap. And I've never sprayed hot rod black before. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't spray like a glossy paint does. So it's it almost looks like it's oversprayed when it's not. You got to let it settle out. And I don't remember that with any other paint I've ever sprayed. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely screwed it up, man. That thing had runs everywhere.
Give us some character.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought about it. I was like, man, I don't want to have to redo this again. I was like, I would be so embarrassed driving this thing anywhere. So so I had to sand it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you're a braver body man than I am.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I didn't do very good.
I didn't either.
Well, it don't matter how good you can paint as long as you can sand and buff. It's kind of like Gary, running wells. If you can run a grinder real good, it's the same thing,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Depends on if you're going to paint it or not afterwards.
There you go.
Yeah. Heck yeah. But yeah, I had to stay busy, man. I'm waiting on some stuff for the Nova, and so we decided to pimp the smart car out and get ready for this season, get rid of all the dings in the doors and stuff.
Yeah.
Make it nice. Yeah, heck yeah.
Take us from the transition of the Mustang to the Chevy 2.
Well, so like after, I don't remember what year it was, honestly. It was Streetcar Super Nationals in Vegas, probably like 2019. Went out there with the Mustang, and man, that thing was riding wheelies. I had like 300 pounds of weight in the front of it, and I couldn't keep the nose down. And I got frustrated with it. And I'm like, man, this car just wants to ride wheelies. So I put it up for sale and started looking. And I wanted a Chevy 2 or, like a first generation Camaro. So I started looking, and I found the Chevy 2 that I have for sale in Colorado. And looked good in the pictures. He wanted quite a bit of money for it. It was just a chassis with a body on it. I went and looked at it late one night when I was driving through there. It was like down by Pueblo kind of. and it was on a lift, and I looked over the chassis. The chassis had beautiful welds. Like, it all looked really, really nice. Didn't look at it much, but decided I was going to buy it. So I went home, had to round up the money, sent the guy the money, go to pick it up. And dude, the body was the most rusty piece of crap you could ever imagine, except for it had new quarters on it. And the guy told me that he built it. And, honestly, I hope he doesn't hear me say this, because I'm calling BS on his part. But I don't think he built it, because the chassis was really, really nice. And everything that you would add to like a chassis you'd buy from McCamus was absolute garbage. And I had to cut everything back off of it, remount the steering column and the brakes and all that stuff. And everything that had the sheet metal welded, or that was welded on to mount the sheet metal, I had to cut back off and redo all of it. So I would have been better off just to buy a Nova and buy a McCamus car or something, or a chassis, and start from there. But so I did that. I spent a whole summer kind of just working on it. And during that summer was when we filmed Street Outlaws here in Wyoming. And I didn't have this car done yet, and I'd already sold the Mustang. So I bought the green 60, what was that, a 67 or 68 Camaro. Did I send you guys a picture of that one?
No.
I didn't? Okay. Yeah.
Nope. Oh, you said Camaro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Green car. Yeah. That car. Yeah.
It looked black in the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really dark green. And that was the fastest turnkey car I could find anywhere remotely close to me. And, we had like a week's notice that we were going to do the Street Outlaw show. And so I went and bought that car from Iowa. And the fastest it had been is like a 490 or something like that. So it wasn't very fast, but it wasn't on very much nitrous when he did that. It was like a 150 shot or something. So I get it here, and I'm like, man, I got to make this thing rip. So I had a big Chief, had a big block in it, like a 582 or something. And I don't remember what we went to first, like a 42 jet or something. And I don't even know how much horsepower that is, but it's way more than 150. And went out and tested on the street, and like that thing would hook on a dirt road. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I got a draggy, and that thing is going like 490s. And I'm like, this is not fast enough. So kept putting more and more nitrous to it. And I bought a plate system to put on top of the fogger. And man, every time it seemed like every time I started that car, I melted a piston, because I was trying to figure out nitrous. I owned that car for like, I think it was 2 months or 3 months to the day, probably 3 months. And I bet you I rebuilt that motor probably 7 times, man. Every time I would take it out, I would burn a piston or a head gasket or whatever. And I know for sure that I bought 2 complete sets of 10 pistons from Gift Tech for that car, and it had some in it when I got it. So, yeah, man, I burned that thing up every time I took it out. But I ended up going, I think I went 460s with it on the street, and that was pretty fast on a big tire. I mean, it was fast enough to be competitive with everybody when we were racing that show here in Wyoming. But then right after the show was over, I sold that car and finished the Nova, and it was all over from there. But yeah.
Me and Rodney know more about practice tree racing than we know about nitrous.
Yeah.
Fair to say, Rod?
No. I played nitrous back in the day. That was my first love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much nitrous did you use when you used it?
And I tell you what, that first pill wasn't a 4, and 28, 32 is more like it back then. We would I see some people on here that probably remember this. We would roll over to the muffler shootout in like 99 in Tulsa and Noble, Oklahoma. And we had a first-gen Camaro, me and Corey Bessie, and we had a 648 in it with a couple kids. And but it was running 5.0s back then. That was fast,
Yeah.
And if you were in the 7s in the quarter mile, you were doing something, But yeah. And then just like anything, I switched over to a blower, ran Pro Charger for a while, and then now I'm just playing with this little turbo. But yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But you're right though. If you run nitrous, you need to know how to change heads and pull pistons and change head gaskets and pull pistons. During the week, it ain't on a Saturday. You're gonna play with this. It's Wednesday night. You're out there doing it.
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Man, that car, like I'd ran that S10 that we were talking about earlier, Even that boat that my dad was in, I've got that, and it's got nitrous on it still, and I've ran that. And I've done a lot of stuff with nitrous that max would be like a 300 horsepower plate kit, that you buy at Jegs, because that's that was my level when I used to run that stuff. And I felt confident. I was like, yeah, I could handle a nitrous car. And so when I got this thing, and I was like, oh, more, I ended up running it with a 52 jet, which I think is like an 850 shot or some crap. Woo! And I was putting so much nitrous into it that when I would try and use a plate, it would reverse the carburetor, because I guess you can't do that with a plate and a fogger or something. It's out of my skill set. And I even had Pat Musey helping me when we were doing the show here, because I kept blowing it up. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing wrong? And that's who told me about the plate thing. And so then I put it back together, and he gave me a timing recommendation. I went out and blew that sucker up again. And, then we got back together, and and ended up running it. I think I had a 46 jet in it on 0 degrees of timing is how I got it to live and, make it past one pass. But I felt super confident that I knew how to run nitrous before that. And man, that's a whole different deal. I made a whole lot of parts.
Oh man. Lots of dead soldiers.
Yeah, I just took that box to the recycling bin the other day, honestly, or the recycling place. Got like $40 for my pistons.
Oh, man.
That's funny. Yeah. Where'd this car end up at? Do you know?
Yeah, so there's a guy here in Wyoming that has it. Have you guys seen? He does a lot of no prep stuff, does a lot in Texas and, around here and everything. It's called the Snot Rocket. It's like lime green. If you guys have seen that car, his name's Philip Canada, but
yeah, it's been at Arc City racing no prep. You remember that, Rod?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's super
it
cool.
It still has the gold wheels in the front.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. He bought it, and I think they raced it like the color that is in this picture for a season or so. And that guy owns a body shop, and so then he painted it to make it his. And they've done a lot of work to it. Like when I had it, it was just like a 7531 MSD box with a freaking nitrous controller and a carburetor, and he's got Holly on it and all the good stuff. And it's a Pro Charge big block, whole different motor.
Yeah, runs good.
Yeah,
it's for sure green. You can tell it's green now.
Yeah.
It's as green as our lettering head up there. Heads up racing.
Yeah. Yep, it is too. Yeah. So it's cool. Still get to see it running around, and it's a lot different than it was, but it's cool to see that it's still racing. So.
Right on. Where did your Fox body end up?
It's up in Canada. Man, I always forget that guy's name too. Really nice guy. I talk to him every once in a while. But after he got it from me, he put an LS in it and made it a drag and drive car. And he does some no prep stuff up there. I know last year or the year before, he had a little incident with the wall in the back of it, and I think he got it all fixed up, and he's still doing some racing with it. And yeah, it's a nice car. It's actually bright red now too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Cool. Well, red.
Yep.
Probably with an LS. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, what an idea that is, right?
Yeah. So original.
Like a belly button engine for a belly button car.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So Lance, real quick, I got a Fox body with still got a Ford in it, and me and Gary always talk about at every event we go to, somebody will come over and they'll kind of, oh, cool, still got a Ford. All right, see you. And they'll walk. See you later.
Yeah. I used to get that with when I had the big block in mine. Everybody would be like, "Oh, another one with an LS," and it's like, no, because I had my coils on my valve covers. It's like, an LS in there, man. Yeah, that's a big old LS.
Yeah, right.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
I like the small block Ford stuff, though. Honestly, I was going to do that with the Mustang at one time, right before the end, because I was going to try and make it lighter. And man, small block Fords can make some steam.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. That's mine. Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing you are. Just to stay light.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I even thought about last year putting a LS in the Nova to go do some of this backside stuff that I've been doing just to try and get some nose weight off. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't take that big block out of there.
Cool. What's your next picture, Gary? There you go.
That nice, pretty car.
Yep. That's it, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
Best thing I ever did for that thing is paint it. It used to be white, and it just never looked nice when it was white. I don't think and I don't know what it was. Like I had a primer white, the first couple of years I raced it, or year or so. And the primer started turning colors. So then I wrapped it, and I got good wrap, and the guy did a really nice job, but it just always kind of looked junky to me. And I don't know, it's like changing colors, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I think I just had to do with the wrap, honestly, because I think the wrap acted the same way the primer did, where it kind of fades or turns yellow and all that crap. So we painted it red like 2 years ago. I had a guy named Royce Payton. He's a good friend of mine in Colorado. Yep. And man, he did an awesome job. And he did the body work before. So I can say this without taking anything away from him, because it was straight before, and I smashed it into the wall and he fixed it. But all we did was paint it. And everybody's like, oh man, it looks so much better now. You straightened everything out. And honestly, we didn't straighten anything out. Like Royce did the body work before. So yeah.
He's magical.
Yeah, it just makes it look so much nicer, and it kind of sucks how many cars are out there that are this same color now. But when I did it there wasn't hardly anything, and I was super excited for that color. But it's still cool. It's still fits the car, and
very nice.
Heck yeah, I'm excited
it's a cool car. Is it? Does it have the best fuel injection in the world on it? Probably Holley.
It's got Holley. Yep.
Yes,
it does. Heck yeah. I thought about trying. Actually, when I first put this car together, I was talking to Haltech, and they offered me a little bit of a sponsor deal, and they were going to help me out and stuff. And I really wanted that new ECU that they had, and with the sponsor, which I don't remember what it was like 50% off or something. It was going to cost about what my Holley would cost me just buying it, and I already knew Holley, so I went ahead and went with Holley, and I've been happy with it. I think every system has their things that aren't as good as others, but I'm not, I don't have any background, and I didn't have anybody teach me how to do any of this stuff. And Holley was easy for me to figure out, and I've done pretty well with it.
Now, Lance, I don't know if you know this, but I think it was 3 shows back. And since it's out on the internet, it's official. So we renamed Holley to Holley Tech. And
right. Didn't we do that after post PRI?
Fuel Tech and then Holley Tech.
Holley Tech, yeah, there you go. I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah, if you hear it, that's where it came from. It was the weekend after PRI. We were talking to Devin. We got his approval. And and so, it's official.
I thought you were going to make a joke about technical support.
No.
That's everybody's favorite thing to say about Holley.
I'll just tell you, my support is Derek Kelly or Devin Vanderhoof. So,
that's right.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I don't ever have to really call them much. Just I've been doing it enough, and I feel like I've got a good understanding. Or honestly, I haven't really been plagued with any of the problems that a lot of people have. But I've never had a problem getting a hold of technical support. Everybody says that, but when I call them, they answer the phone. So I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Well, they got caller ID.
Yeah, they do. They got a private. Oh, the bat phone.
Yeah.
Let's pick up.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Heck yeah. No, I like the guys at Holley, man. I don't work with the technical support side, but I'm sponsored by them. They help me out a lot with that stuff, but they're always willing to help me out. I appreciate the heck out of those guys.
Heck yeah. So you get this car, you got to redo it, because you said the body and everything. Yep. This big block, did you go straight with the big block twin setup, or did you mess around with anything else first? Or
yeah, so I took the engine that was in it out of the Mustang when I sold it, and then I knew I wanted more power. I had that 118 in the Mustang, and it went, I think it went 176 was the fastest I ever went in the 8th with that thing. And I knew with this car, I wanted to be fast, because it's going to be this big tire car and go out and tear the world up. So I was reading some rules, and there was this deal on the West Coast that I wanted to run. I don't even remember what it was called, but they made rules against the XPR 88 turbos, but there was a weight break for the regular 88s. So that's what I bought, was just 88s, and put that on there, and yeah, man, it's had pretty much the exact same setup since I built it. I've just learned and kind of tweaked some things. So
right,
yeah,
methanol fuel.
Yep, yeah, I run methanol. It's got Holley EFI, the MSD Pro 600 ignition, Waterman fuel pump, and billet atomizer injectors.
Oh, nice,
sweet.
Heck yeah,
killer
2-speed
recipe. So I've experimented with that. It's got a 3-speed in it with a second gear leave. So it depends on what I'm doing. And on small tires, we're leaving in second gear. and it's got a lockup transmission in it, but I got rid of all the lockup stuff. So it looks like a lockup, but it don't lock up.
It's not locking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know Gary's going to get here in a second because you put out there that you're switching tires and stuff over. You want to talk about the other things you got to do when you switch tires over? You can't just do a tire change, right? You got to do some other stuff.
Yeah, man, I get asked this stuff a lot. So it's really cool. Like, I think that doing what I do with this car, there's a lot of people that don't understand the amount of effort that goes into it. If you got, not picking on anybody with an LS Mustang or, whatever, but, the cars that work, like, that's where I'm going to leave that one. Like, you go out there with 1,500 horsepower or something like that, there's a lot of things that you don't have to do to switch between prep and no prep. You just kind of work on the tune-up and, make a couple of chassis adjustments. But, with a car like mine, to make them work the way that they need to with all that horsepower, because we'll go anywhere from a low 4-second, and then the next weekend or maybe even the next day we're going out and running 550s on a road or something. So it's kind of cool. Like with this car, obviously I'd change converters. Like I change converters like I change my underwear like once a week or so, and before every single race. We change gear ratios a lot. And then of course tires, I run different tires, even if they're the same size. I've got different tires that I like for different surfaces. I change springs in the front and the rear going from prep to no prep or wherever I'm going. And then also springs in the front. I change the crank height. I move weight around. I mean, there is just a ton of stuff that goes into making these things work. And it's really satisfying for me that I can show up, and even if I don't win on a backside deal, just go some rounds and do well there and learn a little bit, and then show up the next day on prep or the next weekend and go run a number. It's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty proud of that.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. That is a lot of work too. You just by chance, is that 2 days of work or you ever time that? Just curious.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, it depends on. I try and kind of plan it out to where if I'm going to run something similar, I'll put a converter that may not be the absolute best for both, but it'll work for them. But if I have a week, I do it. And usually it'll take me probably 3 nights of working on it after work to get it all switched back over. Sometimes I can do it a little bit faster, but like changing the converter, it seems like it takes a while, because usually when I'm changing the converter, I'm not just taking it out and sticking another one in. I'm changing stators. So, that's it's a little more involved. It's easy to do, but it just adds time. So, and then changing springs and stuff, man, like sometimes changing the front springs takes me 20 minutes. And sometimes it seems like it takes me 4 hours because it's hard to get the strut back in there. So,
there you go.
It makes the week pretty short if it takes, if you're working on it for 3 nights, makes a week short.
Man, what really sucks is when you break the motor and got to do all that stuff. That's happened quite a few times. Yeah, that's been a big thing. This year I was really fortunate. I didn't have any big failures until the end of the year. I broke that crankshaft and pretty much destroyed everything. But I got a new engine together this year, or for this year. I put it together for that last race in Vegas, and really nice piece. I'm really proud of that. I built it myself. I had some people give me some advice, or, I obviously got somewhere that does some machine work for me, but US Machine in Colorado, you can kind of see their sticker on my back window. Yeah. They're a lifesaver because they allow me to keep my crazy schedule that, he's willing to, when I break something, he'll drop what he's doing to machine my block or head or whatever. So it's pretty cool, but
that is cool.
So it's a busy thing keeping this dang car running.
It's a second job, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
So we were talking about this earlier, but like Lance, I kind of knew of you before I met you, right, at PRI. Mm-hmm. The first kicked off, I was watching out here in my shop, and I was watching something on Flow, and I see this little red Chevy too, kind of like in this picture right here, same color, same wheels, and it's just the whole way. It's on the back tire the whole way. He's doing a wheelie all the way down the track. And would you happen to know that guy? Is this that look familiar?
Man, I'll tell you what, I sleep next to that dude every single night. Yeah. No, man, it's crazy. So I'm sure the video that you see in the first one was probably World Series of Pro Mod, because that was the one that was on Flow. And
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what I have wrong with me, but it seems like everything I own does wheelies. That's what I got sick of with the Mustang, and then got this car. And when I first put this together on a big tire, it's like I couldn't go faster than like a 420 without it riding a wheelie the whole way. And so then I've had a lot of struggles, but I've done so many dang wheelies over the last 3 or 4 years. And then I go to World Series of Pro Mod and everybody's watching and it does it. And now all of a sudden it's like this known thing. It's like, man, I've been doing this. Like,
It's cool.
Yeah, people love it. I'm not proud of it. I get a lot of the comments where they're like, man, put some weight in the front of that thing. Or people make some comment about how I need to learn how to move my 4-link or whatever. But man, I'm telling you, I don't feel like there's any single person that I know in racing that works harder at chassis stuff than I do. And, I can't seem to get this car to not wheelie. And, I think that there's some built-in bite somewhere on the chassis. And I've got some stuff that I'm changing for this year that is my top secret stuff. But I feel like I'm finally going to get somewhere because I've learned so much, even small tire racing. I don't have wheelie bars, so wheelies are a lot different than they are when I've got wheelie bars back there. So, yeah, man, it's crazy. That video really brought a lot of light to wheelies. And like I was posting on Facebook earlier this week about the OG wheelie video. I've rode wheelies probably 100 times all the way down the 8th mile, but nobody ever gets videos because I'm never at events where there's anybody up there. And finally in Vegas last year, honestly, I don't even remember who sent me that video, but somebody took a video from the stands and it's pretty cool to watch. So I do like that. But
cool.
Yeah.
You sent 2 of them here, and we'll play both of them. When I play this, it's gonna cover the whole screen, and we won't be able to talk or nothing. They'll just play.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here's another look. Lambert's on a clean run, but look at Knigge, front end up, not lifting, turbos pulling, and watch this thing start to take flight as the chutes come out and grab.
Oh my goodness! I think was that 3 off? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Did you feel it kind of going towards the center there?
Yeah, like it kind of got goofy once the front end came up. It started catching air, and like the hood is how I can tell when it's getting ugly because the hood starts like heaving up in the middle, and that was actually the first time that it broke the hood on that pass and kind of snowed it. Yeah, it like cracked the sides of it, but I can feel it moving around and everything. But yeah, it's crazy watching it because it looks like I was about to crash when it came down. I was moving towards the middle and all that, but in the car it didn't really feel like much. So it's a little deceiving.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Go ahead, Gary.
Oh, I'll play the other one here. Here we go. Woo! Dang.
Yeah.
It looked like the front end hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It bounces and it's made sparks and all kinds of stuff, and it just barely touches the front of the frame rail. It never really hurts much, and definitely don't like doing that to the car. But it looks a lot worse than it ever turns out to be.
Sure.
Well, you owned the internet there for a while when when that one crazy video was out.
I was going to ask you when you got back to the pit, we're just selling out of T-shirts on that deal. Everybody want to come over and talk to you.
That event was really, really good for me. That video got I think all combined on what I seen, between like 3 videos, it's like over 10 million views and all that. But what sucks about it is I didn't get to post it. It was posted before I even got back to the trailer. Like my phone was on fire from people watching live and, seeing it on Facebook. So that part kind of bums me out. I didn't get anything from that. And, those people that did it, there's the one place, drag racing videos or whatever it was, they got like 7 million on theirs. So, they made bank on it. And then at World Series of Pro Mod, there's so much other stuff going on there with Pro Mods that we're kind of pitted in the boonies. So nobody really knew where we were pitted. But at that event, Strange Engineering came over to me and they helped me out with some stuff. They got me some new axles and some brakes and all that. And I caught their attention. So that was pretty cool. And the biggest part of that is it started a relationship with those guys. And, now I have that. So that was really cool. white safety. That video where I like came off the ground and was on one wheel or whatever. He's seen that, the owner of that, Kevin White, and he's seen how crazy my parachutes were. And, you know, it's really kind of dangerous, and I don't want to bash anybody, so I'm not going to say what they were. But another racer that I know, it's Callie Mills. She got in a wreck and she had the same chutes, and she was telling me at that event that she felt like, you know, they were the cause of it. So it's kind of scary. So Kevin reached out to me and got me a new pair of parachutes, and man, I couldn't be happier with them. I liked the ones I had because they were small, and, you know, they wouldn't upset the car because I drive into the chutes, and, you know, I use those as like a rudder all the time. And Kevin got me some that act the same way, but they don't go 9,000 feet in the air when I pull them. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yep. And then, you know, even outside of that, that's the biggest stuff that came from that, and, you know, directly. But being at PRI this year, I wasn't sure if I was going to get invited to World Series of Pro Mod because I didn't really do that well at it last year. But man, everybody I talked to was like, oh, I hope to see you there. I hope to see you there. So it's pretty cool how much of a wave that really made for me this season. And I didn't even know it was there. So
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
It was kind of like my big break without being a big break, honestly. Like I've heard about that wheelie video, of course, all season, but being at PRI around some of the best people in our industry and hearing them talk about it, or, you know, talking to people that I know, and somebody that is a big name walk up and they're like, oh, you're that guy. It's like, yeah,
You're one of them flying cars.
Yeah. That idiot. They can't set the 4-link. Just kidding. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Tim got a comment, Gary?
Tim's got a comment. Tim Purdue with Weld Racing. He says, Lance, I'm planning on stopping by your pits in Bradenton and talking Weld racing wheels with you.
Heck yeah, that'll be awesome, man. I'm excited for that. I've got welds on the car for that event, but they look like they're from like 1984. So it'd be cool to get some cool wheels, and I need to get another set of smalls. Man, I love weld wheels. Like what wheels do you guys run? Do you guys run welds?
Yep.
He does. I got RC components.
Do you? I've got some other wheels on my car that are some cheaper ones that I bought, like that I run on small tires, that I wasn't even sure if I was going to run small tires. So I bought some cheapos, but man, having weld wheels, or, you know, a good quality wheels, because there's some other good ones out there, but man, it makes a huge difference if you change your dang tires. I learned that the hard way a long time ago. I had some wheels from a company that were like, they're a really well-known company, but they're not their high level of racing wheel. And man, I hated changing my tires. I felt like that was the hardest dang thing to ever do. And then I got some weld alphas. It's like the tires fall off of them.
Yeah.
Those RC components, 15 by 12 with a 6-inch backspace on a Pro 275 is you need to have your life insurance policy up to date to get the tire off. It's a bear, man.
Really?
But like Pro Bracket radials are softer. They come up with your barrel design is just, I think it's a fight.
The barrel, basically what I've seen, changing them, changing mine and others, and the back spacing.
Heck yeah. Man, I had I don't remember what the back spacing was on them, but on the Mustang, I had the other brand I was telling you about, and it's like how they do the barrel. You know, like the wheels that look like they have that big barrel that look kind of cool because it makes the wheel look bigger. Those suck, man. They're not for racing.
They're right on the rubber.
Yeah.
As soon as you break it, yeah, that's the way mine are too. If you take it off on the front side, and because at first I thought, I'll do the back side, you know, to keep it all clean and everything, I don't want to hurt anything. But not the way it's designed. And so, like Gary was saying, you might spend half a day, and then I was just looking at this barrel. I was like, wait a minute. And it's like it fell off, you know. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's all about the barrel.
That's back in the day, I met Ryan Martin and Javi before they were on the show. You know, I had a mutual friend that, you know, kind of became friends with them. And I think it was at like one of the first, no, I know what it was. We did this TV show it's probably been 6 or 7 years ago now, called Grudge Race. And they were there racing somebody. I don't remember who they raced. I think Larry Larson or somebody, but no, I don't remember who it was. But anyway, I was on a radial and the track sucked. And they're like, dude, put your slicks back on there. Cause I had them with me. I'm like, no, it takes me like 2 hours to change tires. Like I can't do that. And Ryan and Javi are like, you're retarded. Like, let's change these. That takes 5 minutes. And I'm like, no, dude, it takes me 2 hours. They're like, we'll help you. So they helped me get these wheels, torn down. And it took a while because they're like, man, these wheels suck. So, yeah. After that, I had some weld alphas, and man, you could pretty much change a set of 275s with your hands. You don't even need tire bars or anything. So.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
What's Tim saying? Yeah, got some tips there.
Yeah, Tim says most 6-inch double bead locks are a pain to put the tire on.
Yeah, must be because they have to make that the skinny part of the wheel in the middle or something.
Sure.
Yeah. That's definitely something that if you do it enough, it gets easier and easier learning how to position the bead on the wheel and stuff. And
right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
You sent us some street pics.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Street
Yep, that's a local street race that we got here in Casper, and that was a finish line picture, man. It's crazy how much different you make a car work to do something like that than you do to go make it go fast on a track. And yeah, I'm pretty proud of that right there, because it took me a lot of work to make the car work that well on the street. Like that picture, I forget what we ran, I'm not too secretive about times. I think that was around like a 540 or something. And I think maybe I think that was a 540 that day, but I can make that car ride a wheelie on the street going like a 540. And, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of being able to go from that to go out and run a low 4-second pass on a track on the same dang tire, and it's pretty cool.
Lance brought something up. And so, it was about 3 weeks ago. It was just kind of going around, and it was that whole no time. Poster times.
Clocks on, clocks off.
Clocks off.
Yeah.
And I think you chimed in on that, didn't you? You have something to say? What's your thought?
Yeah. It's crazy how that whole thing started. Like I seen, Isaac Preston, I'll call names. I mean, I don't really care, but he posted a time slip and had some stuff blacked off on it, and it was fast as hell. You could tell by reading it. And, it just got me thinking, and, being on social media like we all are, everybody's always looking for something to kind of, I don't know if stay relevant's the right word, but everybody's always looking for content to keep your name out there. And so I made this post with a blacked out time slip from one of the last races we were at. And I said something, I don't remember how I worded it. It was something about all these time slips, and man, it broke the damn internet. Everybody was posting them and bashing them and, doing all that, which was cool for racing. It got everybody racing, but yeah. And then I did this other podcast last year with Cooper. And in that podcast, I made a comment about people that run a lot of no time are just hiding because they're slow. And man, yeah. I do think that's true. I'm not afraid to say it because, there's a reason why a lot of guys that, really how to differentiate them is the guys that don't bet money. If you run no time and you don't bet money, you're a poser. And like, it just is what it is, right? Like if you're a no time guy and you won't bet anybody money, you're doing that because you don't want people to know what you run to try and, I guess bamboozle them. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, man, I caught a lot of hate for that last year, and I didn't really have anybody in mind. And I had a couple of people that felt like I was aiming it at them and kind of caused some heartburn, and that really sucked. But, I don't know. I hope to see racing, come back with some time slips because, nobody knows. And like, it could go either way. There's people out there that, might think that they're way off pace and they're really not, or there's other people that might not show up because they realize how fast everybody is. But I like time slips, and I think people that watch racing like to see time slips too. So
sure.
Agree.
Yep. You watch a lot of the no time events, which, there's definitely some exclusions to that because there's some really big no time events down south. But, like local stuff like what I do, and, probably similar to what you guys have because, we all have smaller tracks that aren't like Big Jake's races and stuff like that.
Right.
No time races don't have near the spectators. And I wonder if that would help because, races from my experience, which mine's just a little insider look at our local track setup. What makes money for that track is spectator tickets. Racer entries don't. And so whatever race promoters can do to fill them seats or what we need to do. And I think it's worth a try.
Sure.
That's a good point.
That's good. Yeah. You're right about that. Spectators, though.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think everybody should show times? What are your feelings?
Yes, clock's on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
On. Yeah, as well. And, that's why I've always done it. Coming up, I'm just a little bit in front of you, but like we didn't have draggies back then. But we would, that's the way it was always as you just had the clocks on. And then, and you could tell too how it's interesting too, where you say like, I don't know, a 490 to a 470, what that is in car links too, and that sort of thing. And so it's just interesting, but yeah, that's the way we roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing about that too, that, is a huge thing and heads up, and it kind of goes with your guys' practice street competition. Like, and Kai Kelly just proved it, like what you can do with the reaction time. And man, it is so crazy to me watching where you can see that, or, even some of the time slips people were posting, whether it's testing or whatever. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of guys that can't cut a light to save their lives.
Right.
So these fast guys might not be that fast.
Right. That's the truth.
That's right.
I've won a lot of races on reaction time, and I've probably lost some too, but I've definitely won a lot more. Just, that's a part of being a driver. Or like, you can watch even with no clocks, you can see people sleep on the tree. So it doesn't matter how fast they are, if they're not a racer,
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, for me,
Dustin Bear Cronin says, agree, keep the time on the board.
Yes. Agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it gives everybody kind of a goal, like we've done a lot on small tires, and, I'm not secretive about times. Like, I think everybody out there is not going to put their cards out there and say, this is the absolute fastest I've ever been. But, some of our biggest events, like I won this race in New Mexico this year, the biggest race I've ever won as far as payouts goes. And, maybe even rounds. I don't remember. I think there was like 20 cars. I've probably won bigger races actually round wise, but there's like 20 cars in it. I think that night I won like 17 or 18 grand. I won two classes. I won small tire and big tire, and big tire is kind of dead, so it was mostly small tire cars. But the fastest I went that night was a 460, and I went 460 at 175 miles an hour. The track wasn't the greatest down low. It just was really good out the back, and my car works out the back. So times are kind of, even if Ryan Martin goes out and posts up, a 420 flat on a 28 or a 440 or whatever, if it's not at that race on that same track, it doesn't matter, Right. So I think that's another cool thing that people would be able to see if clocks were on is, like I might be racing, in Tulsa and go out and run a 450 and then, go race in Douglas, Wyoming the next week, and I'm running 530s, so if the clocks are on, people could see that, and then they know that they need to show up and race the track. So it's pretty cool.
And elevation and the weather and a whole bunch of crap is involved.
Yep. Yeah, it's a tuning game, man. That's it's all about how you make your car work every single round, and I think that's another thing that it would show, and it's something to be proud of when you can do that.
Yep. It is.
Yeah, there's a little thing
with that too. It's like you were talking about the Ryan Martin comment. 90% of the time when you pull into the gate, if they had a spreadsheet of like, oh, okay, this person's here, they go this fast because they have this combination. 90% doesn't happen.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Yep. Yeah,
like reaction time, hit the tires, whatever. So. Few of the events I've won, I shouldn't have won those. I just ran my own race and kind of stayed there and did my own little thing and let it play out around me.
The backside stuff is like a, exaggerated version of that. But, when I show up to a backside race or like our local street races, like where that other picture was from, there is no other car there that's ever been anywhere remotely fast as my car's been. But on the street, I get my butt whooped, like I've done okay. I won one of those events this year, and I've been to the finals and all that stuff. But, I get beat by cars that shouldn't beat me. But it's all about racing the surface, and my car's not optimal for that. And those guys have stuff that are. Or like, even in Pueblo, Colorado, they do a lot of back of the track stuff there. It's a really cool, I think they do 5 races a year or something like that. Huge turnouts, and I go there and same deal, man. I'll have everybody outgunned, and then I go get my butt whooped. So
Yeah.
like, it's not the fastest car that wins.
Yeah.
Do you? What's your preferred race? On street, on the track, on a big tire, little tire?
You know, if it comes down to just driving, there's nothing like letting go of the button on a prep track on a big tire. That's the funnest thing there is, because I mean, it's like it feels fast, you know. And
Yeah.
Right now, the way that I've been running the car, my preferred race would be a prepped or at least a front side small tire race. You know, slicks. Don't run a radial at all, and I feel like
28.
Yeah,
28s, 29s.
28s. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like my car is very competitive in that. I know, you know, what some of the guys have ran, you know, we all know, I mean, putting it together on the internet or talking to people. And I'm right there with the fastest guys in the country. And that's a pretty cool feeling for me, because like with big tire stuff, I didn't have the budget to run that. Like I tried No Prep Kings, and, you know, I had an opportunity 2 seasons in a row that I could have had an invitation to run invitational and stuff. And, you know, I don't have the money for that. So it's kind of out of my league. I might as well go sign up for a pro mod race at that point, because I can't do it, you know? Yeah. So the front side small tire stuff is by far my preference.
Cool.
Cool question.
Yeah.
Where's this picture taken in?
Man, that one, looking at the background of it, that was probably at Bandamere at a streetcar takeover at some point. Yeah, because I ran a lot of that stuff, and I see that's got the 1320 stamp on there. So yeah, Kyle, yeah. I'm sure he was there, or Fred, or one of those guys. And yeah, man, that was when the Mustang was in its prime. That was my favorite time racing that car.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Big single.
Yep. That's the engine right there that like I've been telling you guys was in the Nova up until this year. So it's pretty cool to see that it made it all that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is a big chief headed methanol single.
Yeah. So it was a Keith Black block, which, man, I don't even know when they quit making those, honestly, but that block is, I bet it's from the 80s. Like that thing is old. And it was windowed and all that stuff when I got it. And when I first bought it, it was supposed to be ready to race. And I bought it from a guy, actually that blue Corvette that was in that one wheelie video.
Yeah.
Currency. It was his old engine. And honestly, it's kind of a turd when I got it. So I had to do a lot of work to it, and Wyoming Performance kind of helped me get it in the right direction. And it turned out to be a really good engine. Mike Henson helped me with it the last time I had an engine shop do it. And you know, he made it all live, and everything was great. I can't believe I blew that sucker up. Honestly, it kind of sucks. That thing it was old and it worked, but yeah, just put one too many passes on the crank. But it's a Big Duke. It's an 18-degree motor. And then other than that, man, nothing really exotic. It's like 10-to-1 compression, and the turbos, I just run those Precision 88s now. And here I had that 118, and that's been my limit.
Yeah. Yep.
Here's a comment that goes with the clocks we were talking about. I hope more local tracks go to clocks on. We'll definitely bring in more spectators and help the small local tracks. That's Fernando Loya.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with him, man. I think that would be huge. And I don't know. I don't think it would hurt anything. I mean, what do you guys think?
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
especially if it brings the spectators and they buy hot dogs and hamburgers, you know, and bring them in.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it would really kill the whole thing about everybody going around being no time racers, you know. Like, it's kind of funny because even, you know, maybe 10 years ago on Facebook, it seemed like every small tire car that was for sale was a no time car. It was like, that was the thing, you know. Oh, it's a no time car.
Time's given to serious buyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to give you this pile of 5.0 slips if you're serious.
Yeah. And that's exactly it too, right. Man. Yeah. Like I was catching some heat on the internet about that time slip post because I blocked it out. You know, there's people making jokes about how dumb it is to do that or whatever. A couple of those people I seen posting that, man, I've seen them freaking post like, you know, 480 passes and do the same thing. And it's like, dude, Why are you bashing me over here? Yeah, I made a couple of comments about that, but it's kind of like the no time crap, but everybody likes to try and hide it, I guess, to maybe leave the option open that they're faster than some other guy, but
yeah. All the secretive.
Yeah.
If you had a blank check and could build any class car for anything, what would you build?
Right now I would probably if it was blank check, I would do a pro mod program.
All the money you needed.
Yep, I'd probably go pro mod racing just because I feel like there's so much stuff around that everybody's jumping to that, and that's the new deal. Because no prep kings. If you would ask me this a year ago, or maybe probably 2 years ago, if I had a blank check, I'd go race no prep kings because the style of racing that it is, and I think pro mod's becoming that. And I think that with racing, I try and be as professional as I can, and pro mod is that. Pro stock would be another one, but I like outlaw type stuff, and pro mod has still got a lot of that in it. Even though there's a lot of rules about turbos and boosts and all that stuff, I'd even run outlaw pro mod. A little bit of everything. So,
what body would you build?
Man, I don't know, because I think pro mods are ugly as hell. So,
Right.
I'd probably be that guy doing like what Kai Kelly just proved is possible. Steel body.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Because it is. Those cars, they are a pro mod. Essentially, even though they're factory wheelbasing, you give that up, but everything else is a pro mod, and I think that's really cool that you can do that. So,
right.
Yeah, what he did was super impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely broke the internet.
My favorite part about that is that he called it out before the race even started about the reaction time thing. And
he did.
His car went unbelievably fast. Like I think he went like a 359 or something, and that's crazy fast. But he said it about the reaction time before it because nobody was giving him a ride in a pro mod, and so that was awesome. And he won a round doing that. So
hold my beer.
Yep. There's it's cool because anybody in racing, honestly, that has any sort of an online presence, I feel like the haters that come from everywhere, and I feel like that's like an overly used stupid word about haters, but there are so many people out there that just see somebody doing well and want to bash them for that, and unless you know the person, I don't think it's fair to have a judgment on them, and to see people hating on Kai in the comments saying, oh, he's not even going to qualify or this or that, and then he goes out and does that. Man, that is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You do see the wave though, with like you're saying with the MPK starting to go that way, with Murder Nova getting the ride, and then Scott Taylor and a few others that are Justin Swanstrom. So I feel that wave is the pro mod, like you're talking.
Yeah. That stuff West Buck is putting together is hot, man. It's on fire.
Yeah, that goes back to like what we're talking about with the World Series of Pro Mod, like the wheelie video. I've done that 100 damn times at a race and never got anything from it. And I do it at one of Wes's races, and it's blown up. And the guys at Drag Illustrated have done really good about promoting that. And I think that all the other promoters, there's certain cases that it doesn't apply to, but other promoters need to take notes from that. Like we did that race out in Vegas, Streetcar Super Nationals, and he promotes that quite a bit. But one thing I noticed about it is there's no spectators in the stands there, and that's what all promoters need to see. However, Wes, I don't even know what he's doing different, honestly, but whatever he's doing that's bringing spectators, that's what everybody needs to do.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's got a formula. You're right.
Yeah,
you're exactly.
And maybe it's location too. It's Florida and who knows?
Yeah.
And the track, the track's great.
And he talked about it on that show, Gary, when we were going to Nebraska. As far as listening to it back, where it took a few years, to get it going, but now he's definitely got something.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I was at I think it was the first one in Denver, and Denver's another track that, probably has a lot to do with location and, kind of the community, but that place always had spectators too. And the first World Series of Pro Mod, it was really cool. And I feel like, their first one was a little bit ahead of the time. Now there's a few other Pro Mod races that are $100,000 or small tire stuff. And that one, I think it was 50 or 100,000. And when they did that, everybody's like, what? Like they're giving away $100,000.
Right.
Yeah. Cool,
Yeah.
man. Wes has done a really good job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's move on a little bit. What's your plan for this year?
Man, you know, the scariest thing about small tire racing to me is that it's hard to plan. Like, I know there's a ton of events, but I definitely plan on staying on 28s. I want to do as much front side stuff as I can because I feel like that's my jam. You know, that's what I'm good at. But next month we go to World Series of Pro Mod. So right now I'm in the process of getting everything set back up for Outlaw 10.5. And then after that, I'm not sure. I was going to go do a race in Vegas, Muscle Cars at the Strip, and we actually won it last year. But you know, they're allowing radials, and it's a prepped race, so it's just hard to justify that. You know, depending on where it is, you know, I might not really care about that. But at that race, you know, I know there's one guy, and I know there's other guys out there with fast radial cars because we were just at a race there. But Frank Yee, I mean, he's just going to go clean house. So I'm like, man, you know, do I want to go drive that far to go race a radial car? And I probably won't. But, you know, then I think at the end of March, I'm either going to go to Texas or I'm going to go to Twin City to Mr. Whipple's No Prep or the Bounty Hunters race in Texas. But then after that, man, it's kind of up in the air. There's a few other races that I have, but with small tire stuff, I feel like you can just fly by the seat of your pants right now because there's so many good events every weekend. So,
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
This is an invite we seen you posted. King of the South, Shady Side.
Yep. Yeah, man, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm really excited for that race. That one, you know, all the guys with Spooled Media and Corey and, you know, everybody has done, they did a really good job last year with that race and it was huge. And I didn't really know about it until it was happening. And when I seen the live feed of that, I was like, man, I want to go to that race. And, you know, honestly, I didn't even really remember what it was called. I just remembered that I wished I was there. And Corey came up to me at PRI and he told me like, hey, you know, we're looking at you for an invite. And at first I was like, you know, what race is this? Because I hear that stuff a lot. You know, I have promoters come up to me like, oh, we want you there, you know, and like their job. And then when I realized what race it was, I was like, man. So I messaged him on Facebook. I was like, hey, man, don't forget me, you know, and like, I want to go to this race because I feel like this King of the South race is where anybody who's anybody on a 28 should be at that race, you know, because they've done something. And, you know, there's some new guys that I've seen that have gotten invites that haven't really done anything yet. And maybe they did a few years ago. And, you know, I think that's cool that there's going to be cars like that there too. But anybody that has done anything cool on a 28 will be at King of the South. And I'm excited to race with them. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you get the nickname The King?
Man, that's embarrassing as heck.
Is it? Yeah. I completely forgot about it until I seen this. It says King of the South. It was something I wanted to ask you, but I almost forgot. You want me to forget? Like I just
Man, I'll spill the beans on it, but this is kind of like that Dodge Neon thing, you know? So
have you spoken about this in public before?
No, probably not in public. This will be the first time.
You're live public right now.
Here first.
So back the first time I went on Street Outlaws at like 14 or 15, you used to have a nickname for the car. Like you had to have that. That was something that like when they sent us the questionnaire, it said that. And I was like, well, I got to think of it. And I was really green. I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm like, oh, they asked for a nickname. I got to give them one. And I wanted to be this cool guy on Street Outlaws with a cool nickname. So I'm out in the garage trying to think of something. And when I got the Mustang, when it was red and white, the guy that painted it, his name's Olin Bounds, and it was their car back then. He put a silhouette of Elvis on like back by the quarter window. And I'm out in the garage trying to think of this name. And I see that. So I'm like, oh, it's the King. I'm like, yeah, that'll work. Whatever. So honestly, I had no idea that, you know, this many years down the road, I'd still be carrying that name and like what it would turn into. But yeah, it came out because I had Elvis on the car. And man, I'm so glad that I did that, even though it's kind of cheesy. My brother-in-law, he raced on the show with us then too. And he didn't pick a nickname. He let them do it. And we had this place that sponsored us some money to go down to do it called Yellowstone Garage. And he had a sticker on his car they called his car the Yellowstone Flyer. I was like, man, I am so glad I gave him the King.
Oh man, yours is way cooler.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So, but it kind of stuck. And then, when I got rid of the Mustang, I was going to get rid of the name too, and because I felt like I kind of named the car that. And then the year that I got rid of that and decided to quit racing it, when I went to PRI, like everywhere I went, like after parties and at the show and everything, everybody's like, "Oh, the King," So I realized that name kind of stuck with me. So I was like, I'll just put it with the Nova too and do that.
That's funny.
That's great.
Yep, it was cool though, man. It's a funny story, so I guess that's cool. But yeah, it didn't mean a lot before, and it kind of gets misinterpreted a lot, like I'm some cocky, arrogant dude saying I'm the King, But yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, well, the back end of that's awesome, where you had to come up with a name for the show, and it's like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's like naming a kid, man. Like it's not something easy to do.
It's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. Yep. And you got to have something significant happen to get a name, I feel like, or like the process of building it or whatever, and I didn't have that yet. So,
right.
That's great.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yep. We got some pictures of you holding some big checks and some cash.
Heck yeah.
I think we already saw that one with the belt and the old car. Here is this where you was talking about you won both classes, the big and small tire?
Yep. Yeah, I did that at a couple events this year, but this one was that big one. That was I think we won 17 grand that weekend. It was a big old payout, man. It was cool.
Very cool.
Yep. That one, man, I could probably fill a whole episode with stories from that race. That was a wild one, man. Going into it, that was in New Mexico, and New Mexico and Colorado, they don't get along. And I don't really know any of the backstories or anything, but going up to that, everybody that I know from Colorado is like, man, you shouldn't even drive down there, because that was in Albuquerque. And they're like, don't get screwed. You're going to get hometown and all this stuff, and man, I was a nervous wreck. And I talked to the guys that put the race on, and they were super cool. And anyway, so I show up to this deal, and testing goes okay. And we ran good off the trailer, and everything seemed calm. Get down to, I think it was the semifinals in small tire. Let's see here. I got to think about that. No, quarterfinals of small tire. I had this race that they were using a camera at the end and no timing system. It was a Olympies race. And they called me the loser, and I swore I drove around this guy. So I go up to protest it like anybody would do, and they replay it, and you can't call a winner in it. And I was racing this guy named Mike Keenan, and you can't call it. And I asked the finish line guy, I'm like, why did you call him and not me? He's like, I just had to pick somebody. So, that tells you right there that, he had to pick somebody to keep moving on. And so then when I protested it, Limpy couldn't make a call, and everybody's trying to do their voodoo magic on the phone, freeze framing it, and nobody could see it clear as day that he or I won. So I'm like, rerun it. And I tell Limpy, I'm like, Limpy, we got to rerun it. He goes, yep, you got to rerun it. Well, that dude gets mad, and he used a lot of choice words, and he got mad and left, saying that we were screwing him and that he wasn't going to stand for it, and he was going home. So I didn't have to rerun the guy. So that was like an hour-long drama, between us for that. Well, then I show up to I do a buy run to make it to where I break the beams and do all that stuff to say that I won the rerun. I show up to next round, and I go to do a burnout, and the other car I was racing was Danny Journey, or I forget his son's name, but anyway, so I go to do this burnout, and my brake pedal goes to the floor. My brake pedal fell off. So I'm like, oh shit. And so I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. And I thought I was going to lose this race because of that. And everybody's over in my door trying to figure out what's going on. And they couldn't fix it because, they didn't know how it went together. So I had to unbuckle and get up, and it was the shaft that holds the brake pedal just came out of its socket. Right. So I just had to get that back in there, and I get the car going. And, there's a lot more to that story. Like, I was trying to figure out how I was going to stop this car with no brake pedal, because I was like, I ain't losing, so I'm like, I'm going to use my foot on the rod or something, and I tried to do a burnout holding the bottom of the pedal with one foot and use the other one to push it, and it wouldn't work. So then I shut the car off, and that's when I fixed it. And I do a burnout, and these guys are screaming and yelling at me, telling me I'm burning them down and all that stuff. And so then I do my burnout. We go down to the end of the track. I won the round, and I go back to the pits because we have like 20 minutes before we have to run the final. And I was in the final of big tire and small tire, so it was horrible. As I'm in the pits trying to cool the car down, this dude comes up and is trying to fight me, like this whole group of guys. And they're like, F you and all this crap, trying to beat me up. And I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this right now. They're like, you burned us down, and they're accusing me of doing that on purpose. And man, it was crazy. So they lead the pits, and everybody makes them lead. We go up to the starting line, and they start it as I'm getting strapped in for the finals. They're trying to fight me again. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. And so then I'm just like, I don't have time for it. Shut my door and, made a pass and all that stuff. And then I think they came up to me again after the race. I'm pretty sure they did, trying to fight me again. And, they felt like I burned them down. But after the race, I talked to them on the phone a couple days later, and all that blew over. But, man, I thought I was going to leave there with some extra holes in my body.
Wow.
Hey. Thought I was getting shot. But
crazy story. Yeah,
it was nuts. But, yeah, that was a big one. But, man, this year I honestly couldn't be happier with how the season went for me. I was really fortunate. I had some wins that I don't want to call them easy, but, there was some stuff that I had everybody either really outgunned at or, some breakage. Like this race here was really unfortunate. I'm still proud of my performance at it, but I think like 12 cars signed up or something like that. And that race has 4 rounds of qualifying, and that's like a war of attrition that people aren't really used to doing, and so a lot of cars broke. And I think for first round, only 4 cars made it. It was crazy. It was nuts. But, that race there, I'm really excited about my performance at it because I ran consistent, and I feel like I earned the win, whether they were there or not is on them. So I think we ran in all rounds of elimination. We ran within like 5 numbers of each pass. So that's pretty good. And, same thing with that New Mexico race. So I think it was really good. But yeah, so I had a good season. I can't wait for this year. And I think I won like 12 out of like 14 or 15 events this year. So like you can't ask for more, that's cool.
Great. Yeah, that's great. You know where the winner circle is.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was really cool, man. I was pretty excited about it. Some of the races were smaller, but races like that New Mexico one and that one right there was cool. That was a street race here in Casper. And some of those people in that picture are my family that aren't from here. So it was cool for them to be here from California to be around me racing, because my family never gets to see me race. But and it was on the street, man. I've struggled to do backside and street stuff. And I went out there and I won on the street. And, I won by beating people, and I won by going fast. So that's a pretty accomplishing deal. So
yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. And that one, I think that was like our second or third event of the year. That was Crump's Cast Days in Evanston, Wyoming. And that one I was pretty excited about, because I went to a race a couple weeks before that and got my butt whooped by mostly the same racers that were at that one, because I just didn't have the car working good on small tires. So I went back to the drawing board and then got to go out and win this event. So that one was pretty cool. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that one, I think. Let's see here. I think that one was Pueblo. That was one of the smaller front side races. There's probably 8 cars at it or something. And, but kind of use those as testing and get to walk away with a little cash, man. I feel like no matter the reason, if you can drive out of the gate of the racetrack and have more money than you had when you drove into it, you're doing good.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Heck yeah. Take it or leave it. Yeah. That's a local deal. That one, I can't tell which. I won 2 races at that track this year, our local track, and I think that one was the last one. But it's cool. That track, it looks really good in that picture. You can kind of see the starting line surface there, but right on the right hand side, you can tell it turns to asphalt, and man, that is a slick sucker. So I went there, and those races always have a good small tire class. There's usually about a dozen there. 10 to 12 cars, and so making a car like mine go down, it's pretty accomplishing. So I was pretty excited about that one. Yeah, that one, that was my first race ever on 28s. That was last March. Muscle Cars at the Strip, man. That was cool. I think that being the first time out, we went 450 flat in the finals at like 182 miles an hour or some crap like that. Like, yeah, it was running out the back. And it's funny too, because like I set the car up for this and I just kind of went off of, some experience and some judgment on what I needed, and felt really good. We went pretty good and went out to Oklahoma like 2 weeks later to go test. And the way the car sat right there, I could not make it go down a racetrack. In one weekend, I had 21 aborted passes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I was changing converters, man. We changed freaking tires. We changed suspension, everything. And yeah, I couldn't make it
changed
down.
Underwear. Don't forget the underwear.
Yeah, no doubt. I had to start taking antidepressants. Yeah. It really made me feel like I had no idea what I was doing, but went back to the drawing board. And then so I went to Oklahoma, tested, couldn't get down the track. I didn't really change much. Went to the one race in Utah where I was telling you guys I got my butt whooped, and then I went back and changed everything and won that Evanston race. So then after that, it was kind of, getting everything back together. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that looks like another race in Pueblo. They do these Friday night shootouts. We go down there to test, and then they have a shootout, and it's the Steel City frontside stuff. And this year they're going to do Rocky Mountain Streetcar Series, I think is what they're calling it. So I think it'll make those races a lot bigger. So I'm pretty excited for those ones. But we go test converters and do all that stuff. And I'm happy with how I run in Pueblo, and that's what I really use those for. And so I still chalk those up as a pretty big win when I can go test something out on the car and walk away happy.
Yep.
Huh.
That's the last one I won in Douglas. Yeah, the Fall Brawl. That was the other one at our local track that's pretty dang slick.
Good.
And I got one more here.
Heck yeah, that one is cool. That was a Wally race up in Montana.
Cool.
That's one of them races, man, like what we're talking about, where it doesn't matter who is fast that shows up. Like there's a couple of cars there from Canada, that have been fast, like really fast on radials and stuff. And that track is really tricky. And, I've been a lot faster than what we go there for sure. And that's not what it took to win. Like, I think in the finals, I won that race going like 480s because it was hard to get down, and like there was a couple other cars there that went that fast, but they couldn't do it consistently, and I think that's what it takes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
Very cool.
Maybe I went 460s at 470. I think I went 470s at that race. I might be lying, but yeah, I definitely wasn't setting the world on fire,
Yeah, you had an awesome year.
Yeah. 12 out of 14, I think you said. That's good.
Yeah, I can't remember how many events I won, but it wasn't very many because I freaking hate losing. So I got a lot of those memories. So
yeah.
It sucks, man. This was like, so I switched to small tire this year because I wanted to race for money. Like I'd much rather race on big tires. There's no money in it. So I switched to small tires. I won a boatload of money doing that this year. And I spent a boatload too, but when you win money, it just feels like you're winning. It doesn't matter what you spent to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had all this cash saved up, and a lot of people think I'm made of money for some reason. And I'm really not. Like my business is small. Like, I live a modest life. I do my thing. And we had saved up money from this season and finally decided to chunk this money out on a motorhome. And so we had been shopping all season, found one that we liked, and just seemed like it was perfect. So I send this down payment. I don't know if you guys seen this deal in Drag Hills.
Yes.
But yeah, man, I got scammed out of $20,000. So thank God, I wouldn't have bought it, or I wouldn't have tried to buy it if I wouldn't have won the money I did this year. But thank God that I didn't spend that money without winning it, because I'd be hurting for sure. So
yeah,
kind of sucked that all that money that we won this year working hard, racing and stuff, went to some scammer wherever the hell they are. But it's life.
Your tow operation is really awesome. The gooseneck trailer and the semi, that's a cool combo.
Thanks, man. That truck is cool. Like I said earlier in the deal, I my parents died when I was 14. My dad was actually 13, but he died in a helicopter crash. He was just at a party, and They had a helicopter and they were giving rides out, and the pilot was acting like an idiot, and they crashed and he died in that. And then during that, my mom had cancer and she died 6 months later from melanoma cancer. And so, yeah, man, it's pretty rough. But that truck is what I used to travel with my parents when I was a kid. We used to pull our camper with it. So that thing's got a lot of sentimental value. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a cool rig, man.
Yeah, I love that old truck, man. That is the most reliable thing I've ever owned too, and probably ever will own. That thing, man. Last year when I went out to World Series of Pro Mod, I'm trying to remember exactly the sequence of events. So I'm driving out there, driving to Florida by myself, to go out to this race, and I have a short, and like my trailer lights kept shutting off. So I pull over to this truck stop to check my trailer lights, and I finally kind of rig it up to where my trailer lights are working, and I'm like, I'm gonna drive to the next town and stop, and then I'll work on it in the daylight. And it was like storming super bad. So I go to start the truck and it broke. The starter broke and it wouldn't start. And so I'm like, what the heck? I had no idea what I was going to do. So then I tried jumping it and it wouldn't jump. So then I take the solenoid. A semi starter is like the size of a 5-gallon bucket, it feels like. Right. I take the solenoid apart and I tell what's wrong. Like the wires just melted. So like it physically couldn't engage. So I tie a wire to the little arm inside the starter, and I take the battery wire off and put it to the motor power, and I pull on that arm to engage it into the flywheel, and I started it, and then all the way to Florida like that.
Oh man,
that was crazy. Oh, then I found some starter place and I bought a starter solenoid and rebuilt the starter on the truck. But stuff like that you just don't get to do, or like another time I couldn't find my keys. And those old trucks, hopefully nobody local to me ever watches this. But those old trucks, they have a knob on the fuel pump because that's all they use to shut off is just a fuel pump solenoid. They have a little knob. You can manually turn it in and you jump the starter with a screwdriver and you can drive it with no key, So pretty crazy. Yeah. But this year we're going to switch over to a motorhome, so I won't be driving that old thing, but I'm going to miss it for sure. And I got to do something different for my kids. So doing a motorhome. And then once my kids are older, I plan on getting, a big stacker and going back to the semi. But yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
So just reviewing here and stuff, a lot of great pictures, great conversation and stuff. And we usually roll into the 2-hour mark. We're right on schedule. But now let's just turn it back to, this is your time to thank people, thank your sponsors, thank anybody that helps you. I couldn't do it without this person that goes to the racetrack with me every time and that sort of thing. So let's just kind of turn it into that.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't get too heavily into sponsor stuff. Like right now, the time of the year, I want to say thank you to the companies that are continuing their support. I haven't signed a bunch of sponsors for next year yet or any yet. But Strange Engineering's huge for me. They came on board last year and they're a great person to have in our corner. T&D Machine. I just thanked him on Facebook too. Yeah, there you go. And
right there.
Sheldon, he helped me a ton. Not this last season, but the season before that, because I was having some engine problems. And man, that guy's huge. And he's going to help me out this year with some stuff. US Machine and I think they're technically in Loveland, but US Machine in Loveland, Colorado. Jeff Van Horn, man, that guy, like I was saying earlier with machine work, he is a lifesaver. Like that guy is so important to my program that, I can't even explain it because I hurt a lot of motors and, I'll fix them. And, I do all my own assembly and all that stuff, but, you got to have a machine shop and he's 4 hours away from me. And if I called him tonight, told him I'd be there in the morning, he'd be machining my block as soon as I get there. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely anybody that sponsored me, without naming names in the past, I've done a lot of event sponsors. I can't thank you guys enough. Tommy and Bonnie Ramirez, they've traveled with me. Like you see them in a lot of my winter circle pictures. A lot of people think those guys are my parents, but they love racing, man. And they travel with me and help me out a ton. Definitely Jason Wheeler. He's helped me out a lot this last season, especially. He's down in Tulsa. He does a lot of tuning and stuff with Fast Automotive. Mike Henson's helped me a lot. He's kind of my go-to with me building my engines. I don't really have a lot of people that I know directly besides him that build engines that are high horsepower. And so he's usually my voice of reason when I'm about to do something stupid. He'll be like, no, don't do that. Royce Payton, he's the guy that painted the car, and he helped me out a ton. We did some trading and stuff, and I owe him a ton for that. Like, the car definitely looks a million times better now, and he's willing to drop whatever he's doing to drive up here to Casper and help me when I need it. And I couldn't ask for anybody better than that. But and then I have to put a lot of emphasis on my girlfriend Winter, man. She puts up with so much crap for me and what we do in racing. And, she's by far the most important person for me with racing. And, we travel all over the dang country and, do our thing. And she puts up with me when I get grumpy or when things aren't going right, or helps me keep things together when I'm in the garage all night working on something, trying to make it work. So, yeah. And, my sister and we've got other employees with Wyoming Safety Supply. My sister really helps me a lot with that and a lot of my personal stuff while I'm gone racing or doing my thing. And, Justin and Rob and Amanda and, everybody here that works with me. And then definitely my Uncle Rick. He's been like, definitely my father figure since my dad died. And, even when we're not seeing eye to eye, it's definitely a family. Like, he's keeping me in line, and he's been super important to me. And honestly, he's one of my biggest supporters with racing too. So I think that's really important. He's kind of behind the scenes, but he helps me out a lot and is my voice of reason. So, I definitely am still looking for sponsors for this year. So I want to add that to this because I've got some sponsor packets we're sending out, and, I definitely can't do it without some of that stuff, not at the level that I'm doing it. And I think that's really important for people to see. Along with that, something else that I want to put out there that I wasn't going to until we started racing, but we're going to start doing a lot more with social media. So you guys are going to probably get sick of seeing me in your news feed, but, I'm trying to do something with that and trying to ride some momentum that I have. And we're going to be being able to have subscribers and offering some, content specific that only subscribers will be able to see. As far as like what we do at the races, I'm going to show time. So if you guys are curious what we're running at races, hit the subscribe button and you're going to see what we're running, because I'm going to show you. There you go. Yeah. And with the sponsorship stuff, we're doing like per events sponsorship for the bigger races like World Series of Pro Mod, King of the South, stuff like that. Because, those races take a lot of money to go to. And I think that's really important for people to see, see us at. So if we're going to be a name in racing, we got to go to those big races and do well at them. So I need sponsors to do that. So, right. Yeah. And thank you to you guys. Anytime that I can have my name on the internet, I feel like I need to do it. And I appreciate you guys, giving me a little over 2 hours of your time to come on here and yap about my crazy life of racing. But yeah,
that's great.
Heck yeah.
It's fun learning this stuff, the backstory of our friends and racing compadres. It's fun to learn that stuff about people.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I did, I shouldn't say I try to not go through names of sponsors when I'm not prepared, because I always forget them. And I did forget one for sure. That's a big one. Holly is very important to my program too. And so I definitely want everybody to know that, anybody that sees all the advertisements with my car for World Series of Pro Mod sees that big old Holly sticker across there, but Holly Tech might be next. But yeah, those guys are awesome. But yeah, heck yeah. I see Doug in the comments saying good luck, man. I appreciate that. And, I feel like, I owe it to a lot of my social media followers to do more on social media. And so, I appreciate guys like Doug on here saying good luck. And, my posts, I feel like they blow up when I post something. Everybody is very supportive of me. And I can't thank you guys enough. I don't respond to the comments like, you would think somebody should, but I hope everybody can understand that. Like, it is very time consuming, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've got a lot of really cool people in my corner that, are very supportive on all my posts. And if I respond to everybody, man, it would take me a couple hours to go through and do that. So, but I do see, and I do appreciate everybody that does support me. And I'm going to try and put some more stuff out there that, kind of shows you guys more of what I do in racing. And I feel like I owe that to you. So watch for it. We'll make it happen.
Cool. We'll share every bit of it.
Yep. We'll be watching.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited.
We'll be cheering you on, watching live feed from, the World Series or wherever you'll be racing. So,
heck yeah, man, I can't tell you guys how excited I am for that. Cause, going back to some of the sponsor stuff, there's another thing I forgot, but it's for this upcoming season. So, it's Precision Turbos came on board, and Wes is taking care of me on some new stuff with my turbos. So, I think this year, even if I don't produce as good of results, because I won a lot of stuff last year, I know that I'm going to be able to go faster, and I've got some really good people in my corner. So that should equate to some results. But either way, I think I'm going to come out with a really good season. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Got a couple more shout outs there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason and Kristen Wheelers is excited for this season, Lance.
Yep. Yeah, Jason. That's my girlfriend's parents, man. And
okay,
they're awesome. They put up with all of our crazy shenanigans, and Jason's always, man, I can't tell you how many times I've went to a shop and we'll work on my car until the middle of the night, or be like, hey man, I got to steal your shop, or got to steal all your parking or whatever. So those guys are great. Yeah, they're cool.
Ray Thomas says, cheers to a great year.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Red. Can't wait to see you guys this month. They live down in Florida. He used to work with my dad when I was growing up. So it's cool that, he kind of kept in touch a little bit through work, and then he moved down there. And when I went down there, I got to catch up with him last year, him and his family. And so it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Heck yeah.
This is good here. Jeff Corkerham says 2025, the year of the king.
Heck yeah, man. I hope so. Jeff's another one. I owe a lot of thanks to you, Jeff. He's traveled a ton with me, in the last probably 3 years or so. I met him through work, and, we've just became friends through that. And he's another racer, and he's awesome, man. We spend a lot of time together, and I couldn't ask for more help.
Cool.
Jason Rank, Lance is always a blast to race with.
Yeah, because he got to beat me twice this year, but that's why you're saying that, man. Come on. Yeah. No, Jason's a good dude. I've known him for a long time too. Honestly, I don't remember when I met Jason either, but we've raced. Man, I don't even remember what car he had, and maybe when he had his green Mustang. But you guys know Jason, don't you?
Oh yeah, he's from here. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I've known him for a while too. But yeah, he got to whoop up on me a couple times this year, and yeah. Bring it on, Jason. Ain't gonna happen again.
Oh,
Yeah, we went to that No Prep Kings in Tulsa, and I think it was No Prep Kings. Yeah, No Prep Kings where I blew it up and he beat me. Yeah, and that's the race he beat. I was thinking he beat me at a different one, but yeah. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Yeah, and he whooped up on me at Armageddon too. But yeah, that's all right. It's my turn now. I can't let him get 3 up on me.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Great job, Lance. Thanks for coming on. Great stories, great pictures. Feel like I know you for 20 years now, and that's the sort of thing. Gary, you got anything else you want to share?
I don't, man. Thanks for sending the pictures and the fun stories, and we really appreciate your time with us tonight.
Yeah.
You're super busy, and, man, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I
appreciate it.
Congratulations to you. With your business, your success with racing. Just keep working, man. You're going to do great things.
Heck yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I'm glad that there's people in the world that can see that, because the overly used word of haters, man. It's crazy how much crap flies around, and people don't see the work behind the scenes, and you guys as racers definitely understand that. It's freaking hard, man. This stuff takes a lot of work, and I do it as a one-man band, and I've got a lot of people that help me, but as far as like the grunt work of it, and I think that's important, and I'm glad that people can see it.
You bet. I'm a fan. I bet Gary's a fan.
Absolutely.
I need to watch you. Appreciate it.
I've been a fan since I met you at Armageddon that year. So
yeah, it's crazy what a small world racing is. You know it,
right? Yes, for sure.
Nuts. Yeah,
and I've had my eye on you ever since, and I mean I'll tell you that too. So
I appreciate that, man. Not a lot of people remember me from back then because I was kind of a little peon. I still am, but now I just a peon with a few more followers. Yeah,
well, he was in the right place. He was right across the row from us.
Yep.
You had a Mustang with a Chevy motor and a turbo, and you had an awesome truck that pulled your trailer.
Heck yeah.
The little things. It's like that. Yeah, that was it.
Dang right. Yeah. Heck yeah. I need to come down there and race with you guys, man. I'm going to try and do that some this year because I go to Tulsa a lot. So
there you go.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah.
We have a good time. Have some fun.
Yep. Dang right. I'll do it. Yeah. You guys will have to come up to Wyoming too.
There you go.
Go where?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Come on up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can breathe. I can't breathe that air here.
Yeah. Turbos don't spool very good, but
Man.
no doubt. Yeah. It's rough. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, guys. And yeah,
We appreciate you.
Be cool to do it again someday. You know, hopefully we go out and win World Series of Pro Mod or King of the South or something, and we got something else to make an episode about. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll definitely keep in touch.
Yep. Anytime you got something to say or put out, give us a shout.
Yep.
Yep.
Heck yeah, man. I'll do it. I could talk for hours. Like I was telling you guys at PRI, dude, I'm a talker. Yeah, and I got some crazy stories. So,
We heard them. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang right.
Awesome. All right, Lance.
Good luck. Be safe.
We'll be watching and have an awesome 2025, buddy.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. See you, Lance. Good night.
See you later. Thanks.
Man, great story. Great story. I didn't know where that little Albuquerque was going to go. You know, you're trying to race. These guys are all upset and everything.
Man.
Yeah. Gary,
Yes.
go ahead and plug our sponsors in.
Yeah, let's give these guys a shout. Mid-America Dragway, Ultra Color Collision Repair, Mobile Recon Mobile Detailing, Sandlin Iron and Metal Auto Salvage, and Harry Street Carpet. They are on board for 2025. Some great partners.
All right. That's great. Great job, Lance. Man, I'm a fan. You were right, though. You were like, hey, we got to go find this guy. As soon as we got the PRI.
I'm glad this second time.
Yeah.
Glad the second time worked out.
Yeah, definitely. Glad you circled back on that. So, Gary, what we got going on next week? We ready to talk about next week? Got something going on?
Yep. We got a super duper dude next week. We've had him 2 or 3 times, 2 for sure. I'm positive, but we're going to hook up with Blake Housley from Flying H. He's going to tell us about what's going on at Odessa for this year.
He's got a schedule ready, got a couple things updated, and he wants to come share that. And so he's going to come on and we'll talk through that.
Yeah.
So, a lot of good stuff. Well, good job tonight, Gary. A lot of good questions, a lot of good comments, a lot of good views and that sort of thing. And so,
good conversation. It was great.
Yeah, great episode.
But it's just a great way to converse about all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
You ready?
Well, I didn't hit the hour mark for a potty break, but I got to now.
You're doing good.
I've been squirming for a while.
Put it up there.
And I gotta find the deal here. Hang on. I went too far. There. Okay. You ready?
Ready? Oh, I read it. Good job, Gary.
Yeah, good job to you, Rod. It was fun, and I'm ready to head out.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, and good night. See you next week.